First time me doing that, so I'm stressed. Okay, oh yeah, I do the clap for
Yeah.
in case needed. So, guys, today we meet with young Irish emerging artist Ciarán Moran. He's gonna be huge shortly, and to be honest, I was wondering what he thinks about the book that our mutual friend recommended, Alessandro, that Rick Rubin wrote, famous Rick Rubin, on creativity. I never remember the title, but Ciarán might introduce that now.
It's The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin.
So, starting, like, what's your general thoughts on that book?
I actually find it interesting. I don't read a lot of books, so when I read it, I found it interesting in the way that it kind of just tells you how to be more creative and allows you to kind of open your eyes and ears to everything, you know. And yeah, it's quite interesting. He's such a legend. Like, so many people within the music industry would kind of die to work with him, and I think his way of being creative and his creative process is in some way cool, you know.
And you never heard about him, like myself?
No, I never heard of him. And the people he's worked with, like Johnny Cash, he revived Johnny Cash's career, like, and yeah, no, I never heard of him.
He's huge, and we kind of miss...
Mega. Like, he's worked with everybody, like everybody that you can think of that's being top artists or in the number ones, he's more than likely recorded them, you know. And I'm surprised I haven't heard of him, because he has a very similar kind of I feel like I have a similar mindset in some ways to what he thinks, you know.
Yeah, I kind of have one question that is kind of a little bit negative, but I'll just do it straight away just to have it out of the way. When I was reading the book, I kind of found the language he used is a little bit like very mystical. I don't know how to call it, you know, like a guru would be talking, and he's using those terms like, you know, holy balance, you know, chimes of cosmic clock, eternal now, and I'm like, what's going on here? So obviously a little bit negative, but I don't know how you did find it.
Yeah, I don't think it's negative. I think you understand that as well, because I think we have a different type of, like, I think it's the type of person that you are, kind of, and I think he would be kind of in some way spiritual and a little bit kind of a little bit more out there, I suppose. I don't know whether that's the right way of saying it, but I think he would be a little bit more, he'd definitely be a little bit more out there. And I suppose it's just like wherever he goes through in life, it's the way he sees his life and his way of doing it. I was a bit the same though. When I read it, I thought some of it was a bit kind of like some of the words he used wouldn't be the words that I'd use to explain things and that. But I think the important thing is that what he is saying, you still understand it, you know. So some of them words that you might say they're mad words or strange words, you still know what he means, you know, and we might just have a different way of explaining it.
Yeah, now when I think about it, first, it's kind of in art, it would make sense to use kind of that language. Plus, they're sort of a shortcut sometimes, maybe, you know, just to...
Yeah. I think sometimes people that are involved with art and do art try to be artistic in all ways, with their ways of talking, their ways of the way they look, the way they everything they do. So I think it's kind of like it's an arty kind of way of talking, I suppose, isn't it? Like, if I don't know whether I'd be able to do it, but I know he gets away with it, you know.
Okay, question number one. Again, shorting everything. So Rick in general advises to follow intuition, you know, how you kind of take that. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of artists and people that are creative would usually follow the rules and follow this is the way you should do it and that's how you should do it. And I think he's dead right. Like, I think if you have a song that's a minute long and if it's a hit to you and the best song you've ever written, release it if it's a minute long. Or if it's 9 minutes long, go and do it. Whereas some people would say, oh well, it has to be 3 minutes for radio or 2 minutes for this. So yeah, I'd agree with him on that, you know. Just do what you feel and kind of have that as the important bit sooner than doing what everybody else wants.
Okay, and third one. Okay, we kind of fly through them.
Yeah, you're all right.
It's only 60, you know. Yeah. So artists are in general more sensitive, kind of, and one of the reasons that's one of the reasons they end up kind of tangled usually in drugs or you know, other substance abuse. So personal drama, they usually go through that, and it helped them to create sometimes, actually. But according to Rubin, he's saying like better healthy kind of normal person without issues can overall create far more far more, and is not really relying on that personal drama to come to create, or our impulses, so what would be your thoughts on this one?
I think everyone nowadays has this thing that everyone has to be positive, and everyone has to, like, if you're in a good headspace, you'll get more done. Like, and if you're working in a job and you're in a good mind, you'll get more done. That's maybe fair enough. But I don't think you can't create, or I don't think you'll make better work in that mindset. I certainly don't. I think the opposite. In fact, I think I make better work when I'm feeling shit or feeling down, and I find it like as a therapy in some ways. So I don't feel like my work comes out like better at certain modes of the way I feel. I feel like more ideas come to my head when I'm feeling down, and I feel like I approach them more when I'm not feeling good. But yeah, no, I don't. I think there's this kind of thing out there now that, like, if you're positive, you'll do more with this and that, and that's amazing. As I said before, like, if you do that kind of thing and that works, that's great. But for me personally, I think any mindset I could do be as creative. Everyone is creative, and everyone has their own way of being creative,
I was thinking, because your songs, like percentage-wise, I don't know if you can use percentage when we're talking about songs, but percentage-wise, you would say like half is built on personal kind of problems or something, or problems you saw, dramas you or they would be.
Some songs would be like, I try to avoid kind of telling too many people about what the songs are directly about, and there is some that are really close to me, and there's some that I've just seen or been around, or I've grown up around, that kind of thing. And then the songs that are kind of about people that I know, and they'll never know that I wrote about them, if that makes sense. I try to kind of keep it a little bit mystical in a way. And yeah, a lot of them would be, I never write too many songs that are too out there though. I wouldn't really write songs about LA or Las Vegas, the sand and the desert over there, because I'm not familiar with it. I find it easier to write about things I'm familiar with. But yeah, to say there probably would be a good percentage of songs that would be around me or directly about me, but I'll always try and keep those ones personal to myself and kind of have that mystical thing that people will never really know which ones are about me directly or which are not,
And next one, there's his general advice kind of to lower the stakes. So my understanding is that he means like, don't kind of follow perfection. Don't think it's going to be your final piece. And he's saying that perfectionists can get in a way of fun. And he actually quoting Oscar Wilde, who said some things are too important to be taken seriously. Also, he's saying that imperfection can be best version in the end, and he gives some examples, like Leaning Tower of Pisa. So what should be?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And I know, like, you've been in the studio with me before, you might have heard me say, like, I've always said to producers, I never want this to be perfect. I don't want a project to be perfect. I think when you try and make it perfect, you lose the natural, authentic vibe from it. And when I go into a studio, like, I do ask, I don't want major auto-tune. I don't want major, like, I don't want I don't want to sound like somebody that I'm not, I don't want it perfect. I want to hear them little crackles in my voice, or when I hear the kind of the noises in the guitar that most people would usually take out, So I definitely agree there. And yeah, that's something that's very important to me, and I think he's 100% right with that.
So actually, I remember one of the recent ones you specifically said, I'm heading to the studio, and I told Stu, I want this to be, as rough kind of as possible. Which one was it? I can't.
It would have been probably the new single that's coming as the new one, that It's Okay. I wanted to, because it's about the song itself is about dark times, and it's about feeling shit and feeling rough. So I think everything around that, I'll never try and make it be a rough song, but I'll just say, look, if we make a mistake on the vocal, I want to keep it. I don't want to. We'll re-record it till it works. But if it's a tiny bit off, like, and he says I can add some auto tune here, or I can add this, I'd say take it out and keep. I want to just be raw,
We'll be jumping a little bit. So another thing he mentions, like, general thing that he's saying, nobody knows what makes art piece great. So what a thought like that, I think it's a huge one. So I was wondering what you think about it.
Yeah, well, it depends what you...
Like, nobody knows what it kind of, how to make it. That's why his book, when you think about it, if someone's grabbing the book and thinking, okay, I'm going to learn how to be creative, how to create, and He's gonna get that answer. Nobody knows really.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting because there's no, like, what is great, and that's not out there, you know. Like there's things that people are very interested in, but there's no definition of this is exactly how to do it. So yeah, I think the with people like it, there's no kind of like with a, for example, if you want to learn how to drive, you go to a driving instructor and he tells you this is what you do here, 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 and here. And if you want to do it before that, you have to do a theory test. You have to pass the test, and when you pass that, you're qualified.
There's clear.
But there's
bed
no,
and
yeah, there's no
go.
kind of pathway or like I think I spoke about this before. Like some people say success and think like what is success? Like I think it's down to the person what you think works. So like if I have a song that I want to put out and I want to let people in Dublin hear it only, or just my aim is Dublin. To me, that's probably the great part for me, you know. And if so, I've successed that. So I think it depends on your personal goals. And again, going back to what great is, there's no exact answer. And I think if there was, everyone would be there, you know.
Next one, Rubin, he kind of reminds that our creativity can be activated while doing something like swimming, running, driving. You know, sometimes when you just sit and try to write, nothing is happening. But when you start actually doing, some activity, then it comes. I don't know how it looks like in your case.
Yeah, I think the more you're doing, the more you're seeing. That's the way I look at it. Sometimes when I have writer's block, I go on a walk or I go on a cycle or something like that, or I go out in the car and go on a drive around. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're going around with a book and saying, right, I'm going to write about this, this and this. You're just opening your eyes to more. You're seeing more and you're kind of gathering it all in without intentionally doing it, if that makes sense. And then when you're writing the song, you remember the chap that was standing at a traffic light that maybe he's with his daughter or wherever it is, and you have a storyline about it. And yeah, I think finding activities to help that is definitely, it'll definitely help.
You didn't notice really that in your case, yeah?
Not
From
really.
what you're saying, I kind
Yeah, for writer's block, sometimes it would work, but I think that for me, like, most times ideas come to me when I'm on my own, when I'm at home, when I have the guitar out and I'm just thinking and I just let my head think. But it does work in terms of you're seeing more, so you can, like for example, if I have a line in a song about like the book that's sitting on three other books, I wouldn't have wrote about that if I didn't see it, if that makes sense. Like, so it is important, like it's definitely important because you're writing about things that you usually see or usually have been around, and without doing those activities and without doing them, what do you write about? Just media or
I think
shit,
what
I don't know.
what you meant is not really that you go out and see stuff. That's another thing that he's talking
Yeah.
about to be aware of, present and everything. But like kind of like as you mentioned, the writer's block, or and then you can okay, I can't do that, and then you start doing something totally not connected, and suddenly everything comes to your mind, like,
Yeah,
subconsciously or something like that. But you don't experience that really,
not as
not that
much.
stage.
No, I wouldn't really say, not that I don't agree with, but it wouldn't really relate to me as much, you know. But for with the likings of writer's block, when you do get that, it is good to kind of do different things, and then yeah, it's right, I suppose, in a way that sometimes if you go and you have intentions of writing an album about yourself or about your own feelings, and then you go out and you see something completely different happening in the society and in the town and in the area you're from, or the activities you're doing. It could be about a person that you're doing the activity with. Could change the whole circle of it, you know.
But I remember once you mentioned that you had some period that there was some writer's block or something like that. But in general, you have loads of ideas, yeah.
Yeah, there would, writer's block would always be there. Like it comes a lot, but it usually happens. I find that happens for me when you're kind of, when you're not doing as much in life, if that makes sense. When I say that, I don't mean like doing positive things or anything like that. I just mean when you're kind of flaking around, and I think when you try to intentionally write a song, that's when I get writer's block, if that makes sense. Whereas I find if I'm sitting in the house and I just pick up the guitar, a melody comes and then the song comes, and it all comes fast, you know.
Okay, next one. Only 63 to go, 64.
Yeah, okay.
The author is suggesting in the book that every artist has like few souls, and any given date, kind of different soul becomes like more dominant, and it's okay only when all souls are happy with the outcome when talking about creating something. So one day you might like that song, but next day the other person in you will not really like it, and it kind of takes a while happen. I don't know if you feel the same way like he's describing, you know.
Yeah, I think there's a thing with songs and with creative work. There's two little things that's always stuck with me. Is your last work you always think is the best work, and then you send it to someone. Like, so for example, I write a song and I think it's amazing. Then when I send it to you and you say, oh, like I remember sending you a song and you were like, oh, you lost it. You know, you're not doing your thing anymore. No, but it was similar. It was so. But then you listen again. And you listen again, and how many times have I sent? And same with me. Sometimes I write these songs and listen to it 5 times, and then the 6th time I listen, I'm like, this is fucking shit. I don't know what I've wrote here. This is probably the worst song I've ever wrote. So it goes both ways, you know, for everyone.
I'm just thinking, yeah, like obviously same for audience, yeah, because I listened 5th time and then like, what I was thinking the first time, you know.
Yeah,
You're probably right. But
and the opposite. Sorry for interrupting you, but the opposite. Sometimes you listen to them and you say, I don't like that. And then 3 times later, because I think on recent songs I sent to you, you said, I don't know whether I like it. And then the 3rd time you say, oh, this is a good song, you know. And that's what all art.
But it's not something that you would be noticed about those things that he's talking about, those souls, that not something that you really think it's probably somewhere deep.
No, I think
he might be right about it, but we don't really think much about it, yeah.
He could be right about it, yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't really be. It'd be a bit out of my kind of like...
Because it explains that, like, why we like it one day and we don't, then we like it. And then you mentioned as well, like, every song is kind of, last one is your best one, and then you kind of grow or something like that. And
yeah, I think you grow out of it. You kind of grow out of it sometimes. Like, when you listen to songs repetitively, you start to, like, I as I said about the single, I listened to it so many times, I only got the mixes back off the producer. And the first few times I listened, like, I'm like, this is perfect, this is going to work. And now I'm kind of like, when I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh, but anytime I let somebody else hear it, if he wants to use the word souls, maybe, for me, I'd say just another person. But if I let you hear it for the first time, that's the way I heard it the first time, if you know what I mean. If that makes sense.
Actually, I skipped one of the questions because you mentioned when you're getting feedback from people,
yeah.
And he's saying, like, oh, really, feedback is basically just that person talking about themselves, you know, like, I think that's my example, and probably everybody else. And how you take feedback, you know, how you see feedback in general, kind of, what's your thoughts on it?
I'm perfect, like, I'm fine with feedback. I wouldn't ask for feedback if I didn't want the answer, you know. And I prefer honesty. I prefer someone saying to me, you know what, I don't like this, because then it gives me time to go back and maybe think, oh, maybe this could be fixed, or maybe that could be fixed. Sometimes people suggest to me, change this and change that, and I'd say, no, I like that. But then sometimes people would say, would you not hire this or remove this from the song? And I think, that's actually a good idea, you know. They say two eyes are always better than one, if you've heard of that saying. So it's always good to have other people's feedback. I think it depends on who you're getting feedback from as well, though, because some people kind of are know-it-alls, if that makes sense. Like, they know the way to do it, and if they know the way to do it, they'd be doing it. But they're not, you know. So I think feedback from me, I'm fine with it, and I like getting feedback off people close to me. And I always ask when I send songs or send something, I'd always say, like, I'd appreciate your honest opinion. I don't want you licking me arse or saying to me, oh, it's amazing, it's great, because if it is, that's great, but if it's not, I'd love to hear it, because I have to stick that out to the world, so to speak, and it's there probably forever.
That was actually my next question. It's kind of a test before putting it out, and so you kind of want to know more or less what you might expect.
I think in some ways it feels like you're looking for approval sometimes, but for me, I think it's that thing of letting people hear it. Give it to the early years that you trust first, you know. Like, if I was sending it off to, I could send that off to 10 music producers or 10 record labels, and every one of them could come back and say that's shit. And then I could sell out a room of 1,000 people the week later, because everyone that was in that room loved the song.
It's not really about getting the stamp, but it's kind of to know what they feel.
It's just to get a feel, feel for it, and see what people are thinking, and see what people like it are around you. I don't send it far. When I get a mix, I wouldn't send it too far. I'd send it to people kind of close to me, and close friends, close family. Sometimes I don't even send it to me family. I just wait until but usually close friends and yourself, and a couple of people I'd send it to, just to say, what do you think of this, and see what they think. And that's kind of, that's how I work with.
And would it be like because that feedback kind of keeps you, I don't know, on the ground, kind of, so at least you know, okay, what people, even if everyone will say it's bad, you would still put it out, but you know, if you feel it's perfect or great, but just to kind of know. just for yourself?
Yeah. I think it's again, it's just it's some sort of. It's nearly like a pre-release that you're getting a chance to see what the audience think of it in a way, but also it's people close to you who are going to be honest with you, because there's a lot of people that will just say it's amazing, or a lot of people that'll just say it's shit and probably never even listen to it. No.
Because I know, and that's next question kind of I skip. Like the art would be, it's all about the art, all about the maker, not really the audience, you know. So it doesn't really matter what they think, but still, you know, you do it in some part for them as well. It does matter for you, or how you actually see that, you know.
You know what, I used to like for a while, and only when I read the book I kind of I felt that was an important part where Rubin speaks about like the audience comes last. And I thought it was kind of a little bit of a. It was not. At the start, I thought, what is he on about? Like, the audience are the most important because they're the ones that buy your tickets and listen to your music and that. But he wasn't talking about that. He was talking about the creative process. So I do remember there was times before, and a good guy of a guitarist from Aslan said to me before, like I said to him, people keep telling me I need to write fast songs and I need to do this and I need to write this and write that. Because when I was writing songs, I was thinking, what would the crowd like? What would the... And I never wrote them songs. I actually never released those songs, and I never wrote them or done anything with them. And that part is important, because now when you think of, like, write what you feel, write what you think, and if they like it, they like it. And if they don't like it, they won't like it either way, even if you write for them. So
it will not work anyway.
Well, it doesn't work either way, you know. So yeah, that's something that's very important. I think you have to realise that you're writing the song kind of from your own mind and your own perspective sooner than somebody else's, and doing it to please other people, to what other people want to hear. And if they like it, they'll like it either way.
Yeah. So it's not really to please them, kind of. It's more to, you know, if they will resonate, great. If not, you know, tough, you know. But you can't really make it kind of.
It's like the fast song and the slow song. It's some people will say to you should write fast songs because at a gig everyone loves fast music. They like dancing. What if I prefer writing a slow song? What if I prefer writing something deep? And what if I prefer writing something that's mean something to me? And it's worked so far doing it that way, you know. And I do write fast songs. I have upbeat songs and that, but that's just an example of a lot of the time you think, oh, I'm doing a gig now, I don't have many fast songs, I have to write this because that's what the crowd want.
And just to make it clear, so there's a small catalog that you have songs that you made for people that you were thinking, oh, that they're gonna like it because that's what they want or something, but not really. Maybe I like it, but that's what they want.
Yeah, there would be a couple of songs that I often wrote and thought, like, this is like a what would be an example, you know, like Ole Ole Ole, you know, like a something like that,
like
where
happy birthday,
yeah,
kind
some
of
shit like
Christmas
that,
song,
thinking, oh, the crowd will sing along to this, you know. And then I do a gig and they sing along to Mother or Follow Your Soul, and that works equal. So I can't really think of what songs would be, but I know I would have done it at a point before, you know.
According to Rubin, rules direct us to average. So art is confrontation, he's saying, and it's good to learn rules, obviously, but, you know, just to kind of maybe break them later, know how to do that. And world does not need more of the same, he's saying here as well. So obviously, what do you think about those kind of things? We kind of covered that a little bit. But
yeah, I think just listen to pop music. Listen to a lot of releases in the country today, in Ireland and England, and most of them are the same. Different singer singing about the same thing, singing about the same, and it's sometimes using the same chords, sometimes using the same progression, sometimes the same arrangement, and that does work for some people. Like, and because the rules in that sense would be, for hits, is that big catchy chorus, that kind of upbeat vibe, the love songs, the songs about heartbreak, the songs that's going to work for TikTok and shit like that. But that's what I think is important about being different, and I think sometimes different pulls you back a little bit, but it makes you...
What do you mean by that, like it's pulling you back thing?
I think different. I think, for example, if I was doing pop music, I think I'd have a much... I could easily write pop songs. I think pop songs are probably the easiest songs to write. I think the arrangement and the style of them and the kind of melodies for pop songs are so simple. And I think I'd be, we'll say further, I'd be probably doing bigger gigs. I'd be probably doing have bigger followings. I'd probably have a younger fan base. But I think because I don't do that, because I'm a little bit different, I think that's the reason I'm not doing them things. I'm not doing gigs for 14-year-olds in a gig, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't say there's anything particularly wrong with it. It's just not for me, you know. I like the idea of being a little bit unique or different in some way.
And was there someone that kind of advised you that, or you kind of figured that out yourself?
No, you just have to listen to look at the Irish charts and listen to Irish radio. And when you listen to those, you'll see everything's the same.
And when you did start, we were like 13, 12 or something like that?
Obviously, I was always different. When I was 14, I was like, for example, like Justin Bieber would have been out about a year or so before what I was doing when I was 14, and like Justin Bieber was unbelievable, and he still is. He's amazing, like, and come so far away from what I do. But I just mean, like, as a prime example, like when I was 13, I was writing songs about my neighbour who was on heroin, and he was writing songs about like that song Baby, or getting songs wrote from, and that's the difference. Look at the success of Justin Bieber, you know. Obviously there's other parts that play in that. Fantastic vocalist, great musician, and has lots of parts to play. But I just mean, yeah, I think I didn't really know about it then. I was always a little bit different. But in the last couple of years, like I've tried to, not that I've necessarily went down my way to do it, but I've tried to sway away from being the same as what they have in the like, you listen to Irish radio stations, some in particular, they loop most of the same songs. Most of the songs, if you look at the lyrics, you could nearly say it's about the same girl or same boy, same song, same heartbreak. It's the same, sometimes the same words in certain choruses and that they use. You know, there's always a feeling of, like, and I'd use certain words similar, but they'd be in a different context. But there's always the idea of love. There's a lot of people being lost. There's the idea of, there's always flowers or grass put in somewhere, and fucking sunshine, and there's drinks on people about the drinks and their friends, and that's amazing. Again, they're good songs. You listen to them sometimes on the radio and people enjoy them. For me, I like the idea of being a little bit, I'd prefer to write about someone. And
you're basically saying that you had that from the beginning, eh?
I've always had that. If you listen to me songs from when I was 13, I've had that, you know.
Okay, next question might be similar. Rubin saying that it's healthy to hold every rule as breakable, to experiment. He insists to have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose, and you will always learn something from that. He's suggesting to test opposites in art too. So now basically questions about experimenting. I don't know if that applies in your case, or you don't. It's just the song comes and it's almost perfect already.
Yeah, I would experiment a little bit. Like, I've often messed around with certain styles. Like, I've never wanted to narrow myself down to one certain genre. Like, people do always ask me when you're submitting music for your Spotify or whatever it is, I always ask what genre is this song, and I've never limited myself to some specific thing. So I've always tried to experiment a little bit. Maybe I might try do something a little bit different here again, you know. But again, it's all about being creative and trying to find something different and seeking that thing that sometimes I like doing things other people haven't got the balls to do, or haven't got the courage to do. And I say, you know what, do it. What have you got to lose, you know? And then people like it or enjoy it.
But would you experiment a lot? Because, you know, obviously we don't see.
I wouldn't be. Look, you wouldn't really get me at home kind of taking the guitar apart to try and find a noise underneath, or shaking a fucking string or shit like that. But I might try something a little, like, for example, a reggae. If I like listening to reggae or a certain song, I might try mess about a little bit with that style and throw it into what I'm doing or something like that, you know. But no, I wouldn't be. Look, I'm very plain and very straight kind of person in terms of the, like, I'm just kind of, I don't really do all that kind of thing, you know. Like, I heard a funny story before about an artist, a well-known artist, one of Ireland's biggest selling artists, going into a studio before, you know. And he brought a chain in, you know, like a bike chain, like a big huge chain, and like came into the studio and said, I want to get a sound effect, and just fucking dropped the chain, like, on a studio floor that's wooden and is probably like made for the studio, you know. I wouldn't be like that, man. I'd mess a little bit, but I wouldn't get too funky, you know. I'd just keep to myself and do me thing, you know. I'd be afraid and where it'd lead me.
This kind of reminds me, the movie that I praise always, Dewey Cox story, and
Yeah.
he's going through all those stages, and there's that stage. I think Beatles, they went through that as well, obviously, and he's bringing sheeps to a studio,
Yeah,
and trying
yeah.
to get those.
You know what? I see that.
sounds.
I see that with outside of music, not necessarily outside of music, but outside of the music itself. I see it with people like you see them like they were kind of this type of person, and now they're like, I knew a guy before, a lad before, he was a rapper, you know, and I remember saying this to you before, like years ago. I remember he would have been supporting the rap group I was in, and like he was going around in tracksuits and going around like real kind of, he's from Finglas, like, so just an ordinary uncle like myself or anyone else. And then like I see him now, like in the long overcoats and the things like that. And I think it's cool that some people do it. Like I think if you're happy with that and you go to bed at night and think to yourself, I've been myself, that's great. If I ever do that, I have people in my family that I just say, if ever you see me going off track, reel me back in, because it's not me.
Yeah, we'd have to think about it, because you said you were kind of natural, like that from early stage, but some obviously when you're young you might be just naive and you follow those trends and everything, and then you kind of grow and you say like I don't want to.
Yeah, but look, if that's the way people do it, that would be how it happens when they're older. They don't want to be the same as everybody else, and they want to be different, and they want to look unique, and maybe wear their granddad's jackets and shorts and trousers and whatever they want to wear. And that's great if they do that, I think if you have the courage to do it, brilliant as well. But I just mean, for me as an artist or a musician or as a person, I never want to do that, I just want to be the same as what I was when I was 15.
And is it up to you really? Maybe in 10 years you'll say, because I think I remember like Madonna, she's going through different stages. There's that Frozen album, like when she suddenly changes.
For me, it'll always be up to me, and I'll never let.
Is our favorite Bono? He would kind of stay the same, did he? Or
yeah,
throughout the years.
Where's them glasses? And
old Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, I think. Look, if I've met with promoters and labels and people in the industry that I was to work with or going to work with, and I have said before that, look, I'll do the gigs, I'll do everything, but that you won't be dressing me up like, or putting makeup on me, or doing any of that stuff, and again, nothing wrong with it. For me personally, it's just not for me, and I just want to be, as I said, I always just want to be the same as what I've been. And when I'm finished this and when I stop playing music and when I do call it a day, I'd love people to just say, he was just ordinary, he's just the same. He's just the same as the young fella that lives next door to him. Played a few songs and had a buzz with it, and never kind of got ahead of myself, because it's very easy to fall into it. Like, if I start going out and dressing, like getting a leather jacket and the leather jeans and the black boots, like, there'd be a lot of people that would be close to me and friends of mine and people from where I grew up that would say, what's going on with him?
But correct me if I'm, because you in that kind of genre, like, you should be wearing leather jacket probably, it would be like more a rock, but you're not.
I should be wearing
ready for that.
Not that I'm not ready, I'm just not doing it.
Not for you.
It's not for me. It's the same with the pop music. I could wear, like there's the hipster clothes and things like that. I just wear what I like. Today I'm in a tracksuit, a Nike tracksuit. Tomorrow I'll be in a pair of jeans and a jacket. It might be like,
I was going to say, like, before we started, kind of, you were like, is that okay? Yeah, it doesn't matter really,
Yeah, that's all right for
that's like, the way I feel,
Once
right
it's more
now,
like just for something like this or a video, or like I done a gig in a tracksuit before, but that's what makes it different again. Like, and it's not to say you'll have success from doing that, but it's to show that you don't follow that trend, You don't do what everyone else does. I should be sitting here with, like, for example, I wear a chain. The reason I wear a chain out, and sometimes I always used to find it weird when people wore chains out all the time. My nanny is on my chain, and she told me years ago that a chain should never wear with a face on it or a picture. It should never be hidden under a t-shirt or under the top. Sometimes you have no choice if you have a big hoodie on or a jacket, but it should never be kind of closed off where you can't see it. It feels like you're hiding the thing for them. So I always wear that out, and I wear that proud, and that's kind of that's the only thing that's a little bit kind of, for me, some people would probably say, oh, he's wearing a chain with a tracksuit, he thinks he's this or that. I don't give a fuck what people think.
And it's granny. So not for everyone. That could be, you know.
My nanny, no, it's not Tupac on it anyway, you know, or it's not.
So, and actually, I don't, because we have a good few questions to go through, but
Yeah.
this is like, obviously you have your nanny here. She was a big figure for yourself, yeah.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely.
Because you could have your mom, you could have your dad, you could have some girlfriend.
Yeah,
you
I
could
think
have
I'm gonna
some
get me
artist,
ma.
you know.
I think I'm gonna get me ma put on it because I have room on the back of it. I might get me ma put on the back soon. I had intentions of doing that because a lot of people get them done when people pass away, but I'd like to get it done when she's alive, and I could do it. I will do that soon. But yeah, my nanny kind of reared me when I was a kid, like up until like not. I would have lived in my nanny's for a lot of the time, and would have been very close to her. And then as I got older, I had pals and friends and started hanging around in town, and I would have gone up to me nanny. I was still close to her, like, you know, but then she died, and I've lost a lot of people in my family and lost a lot of people down the line, and I've never had a feeling about losing somebody the way I did about my nanny, if that makes sense. And I still don't think I've ever. I can't look at. I know I have a picture of her in a chain, but that's more. It's close to me, and but if someone tries to show me a video of her or shows me pictures or anything like that, I just can't really look at them that much, which is a bit mad. They say people grieve and things like that. I don't know whether I ever have from my nanny, to be honest. I just try to bypass it, and sometimes I still think she's here, you know. So yeah, it's nice to have her kind of close to us and doing these kind
Was
of.
she into music?
Yeah, all my family would have been. It would have been my nanny's
Was
side
she
of the family.
singing, playing?
No, she wouldn't have been really a singer. My granddad would have been. My granddad would have been, but she wouldn't have. I don't know whether. I don't think she played anything. No, maybe when she was a kid she would have done it. But all her sons and kids, like my ma and all, would be a singer, you know. But yeah, no, she wouldn't have been like a. She would listen to music, obviously, and enjoying music, and all her children played it, and her husband. But
I'm just thinking what was so special about it, about her. Obviously, she raised you and everything, but she has
just
to
the
be really special
type of
for
person
you.
she was. I think I done all right in life in terms of I didn't do drugs. I don't drink much. I drink the odd time, but not much. I don't bully people, there's a lot of things I don't do that are just the ordinary things people do. I think I got a lot of that from her. I have a lot of respect for people that are older than me in terms of with regards to like me ma and other people's mothers and older people, and like she used to tell us the thing, like if you're fighting with someone, never bring it back to the door. Fight with them down the road, but don't bring it back to this door. It's disrespectful. And I think I learned a lot about respect from me nanny, and a lot of people. I don't think there would be many people that would know me that would say I've been. I would joke a lot and I'd slag a lot and mess a lot. But when it comes to being serious, I'd be very respectful towards like me ma and anyone. I tried to explain to someone recently before that I wouldn't really be like, I'm not a mammy's boy. I'm far from that, like the furthest away from that, in fact. But I'd be very, very respectful of me ma and me nanny and me dad and me family. But women in general, like I would have a lot of respect for. And I think my nanny reared me in that way, and that's something I'm proud of, and that's why I think I have a lot of admiration for what she done for me. I didn't do a lot of bad things, and I think it would have been down to her. I had two older brothers as well, but I couldn't really do a lot of bad things. But in terms of her way of kind of making you, she just had a good way in life, you know what I mean?
I just want to say, like, again, don't want to build stereotype, but it was not easy. It was easy kind of to fall into, let's say, trouble or mess or let's say drugs. That was just
Such a doorstep.
You didn't have to look for it, yeah.
No, you could do anything, and it's not only the inner city. It's certain areas that have lack of resources and things to do for kids. Can't always use that excuse either. Some people have family issues and that, but no, you could look. You'd be asked. You could be asked to do something, like you could be asked to fucking wherever it is. You could be asked to break a window of a car. Or you could be asked to knick-knack on a flat door or whatever it is, and it's always there. But I think it's what you choose. Like, and a lot of my friends, like there would be a lot of my good friends that would have been messaged. Like I think there's a big difference between having a joke and a mess than there would be from being a serious, what some people would label it as a scrote or something like that, you know. And I would have messing and doing. There's a lot of things I've done that I wouldn't really be proud of, that I wouldn't say I'm very happy about doing. But can't turn back time. That's what it is.
I was just trying to say that it's obviously easier. Maybe again, I don't want to kind of build some that it's a general thing, but it's easier to fall into, I don't know, bad habits, trouble when you're living in a inner city or some disadvantaged areas or something like that.
I don't.
But I'm trying to say,
I think it is.
Your granny kind of like help you to
avoid
stay away from that.
Yeah, in ways, like, and it's not to say you don't like it. There's nothing about. There's no reason to be proud for getting in trouble or anything like that. But it's not to say I was never in trouble. Like there was plenty of times I would have been in trouble when I was in school and outside of school.
Again, I also.
But we always had that respect thing. We always had that thing, like, for example, you know, like we'd throw fireworks years ago. We were throwing black cats or knick-knack, you know, knocking on people's door. You'd never knock on the old person's door. You'd knock on the young people's doors, and some people would say there was always, yeah. And I always found that a little bit weird because it was like if you're throwing an egg at somebody walking down the road, like you nearly need their ID. Are they over 60 or over a certain? You don't throw it at them, and you know what I mean. It's just, and not in a bad way. It's just you kind.
Yeah, I like that actually. I like that fact that. There are those kind of rules that
there's rules. Like you will meet some of the what people would say like the bogiest, the umflets or the dangerous people, and the respect they'd have for older people. There would be a lot that don't, but a lot of my friends and people like that would have much respect for anyone that like some of my friends that would have been messers and in trouble would be the type that would help a woman across the road with her messages, you know, and that's the type of people like that are. I don't know whether it's easier to get in. It would be. I would imagine it's easier to fall into like I think the lack of education in some areas and the lack of things to do and resources. People will say in other areas, oh well, we don't have as much to do.
Yeah, so I was not trying to say it's like bad in general, like, you know, like, oh, people here are worse or something like that. But it's just that's just the nature of it. I think okay, that's the way you live kind of in places like that.
Yeah, I think there's more options for you to kind of do. There's more options for you to do things you shouldn't do in those areas. But
especially, sorry for interrupting, just try to go for those questions.
Yeah.
But that, like drugs, especially drugs. Like if you're living in some, you know, you're surrounded with like massive kind of garden and everything. There's no chance that, you know, there's CCTV everywhere. Some talking about some posh neighborhoods or something. Your chances to buy drugs, you know, are a little bit slimmer. Maybe I'm wrong, because on the other hand, you have money, so you can get whatever you want any time, and you might have broken cars.
I think you can get drugs anywhere now.
Yeah, so maybe I'm going wrong.
No, I understand what you mean, but I think with regards to that, like everywhere in Dublin it's more like you won't get, for example, you won't get the Sunday World or the Irish Mirror writing about as much about the drugs in certain areas than you will when, like, there's a lot more happening in them places. As in with regards to drugs and things like that, but it is available. They're available everywhere, unfortunately, you know. And
I was kind of trying to build some generalizations, but now I'm, you know, going back because I see I'm totally wrong and I have to think about it. But because it doesn't. It's really and that's actually what your music is technically about. That it's not, you know, you're not bad people or something.
No, it's always we're the same.
Yeah,
we're the same. You know, no matter where you're from. But I think there's depends how you're. Sometimes it can be labelled as different, you know. But I think if you give a fuck, then it matters. But I wouldn't, to be honest with you. I don't care about anything like that. No.
I go now to go back kind of, but I also skipped one of the questions which is I had about genre, you know, because you said you don't mind really to shift genres, and the question was basically that sometimes artists can be a prisoner of genre, because okay, you know, I got some success here, and now if I try this one, you know, they might reject me, and then you guys might not like me, and so I just stick to the thing that I don't really like. So I don't know what's your thoughts about that.
Yeah, no, I don't care. I don't care if it doesn't work. I don't care. Once I've done something that I've enjoyed, I don't care. You know, if I have a song that works and it's kind of a slow ballady genre, like a slow ballad, and the next song, it doesn't mean I'm going to release 5 songs after that. I could release a hip hop song after that if I want to. It's just depends what way I feel about it, you know.
And one thing, small thing maybe for you, but for me was big one that you know, Rubin mentions that some artists, they don't absolutely out of the blue here. they don't use they don't like use earphones or headphones, you know. And for you it was kind of yeah, natural, but for me it was a big thing. Like I thought that through earphones you really can hear everything bit, you know, you're in total
Yeah,
silence.
I think though, I think when he's speaking about that, that's from a producer's point of view. And I think a producer would prefer to listen from speakers to headphones. But there's a thing about in a studio, like, and it would be more a question that would suit a producer, to be honest. But there's a thing about in a studio where you sit in the middle of the two speakers and the sound is amazing, man. It's unbelievable. Headphones would never
So they use
beat it.
top quality equipment, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, but I think for like if I send you a song, it's better to listen on headphones than it would be to stick the phone.
Because you always recommend me.
I always say
because you know I'll be listening on my crappy phone, and you know.
yeah, you don't get the full impact. Like if you listen to certain, you won't hear certain bass lines and that sometimes on the phone when it's not mastered or not ready to go. But yeah, no, I don't mind. I'm not fussy. If I had a studio, I'd imagine speakers would be that, and I'd say Stuart would be a great person to ask about that, you know.
And actually connected with this one, when you do gig live show, you know, live show, and you know, obviously you produce it and you listen home or something, like how big is the difference you think, and how what
To be honest with you, I don't really listen to a lot of stuff that I don't really listen back to a lot of videos. There would be one or two from certain shows that I want to hear because it's a new song or something like that, like the one I let you hear earlier in the recent gig. I said to you, check this out, it's just a video because it's the only footage I have. But if I'm doing a sports lot or doing, and anyone around you will tell you this, around me will tell you this, I don't listen to it. I never listen back to
maybe I phrased the question wrong. What do you think about the difference in kind of quality, like for also for people,
sorry.
you know, between kind of music that you produce?
I think well, live you get emotion and you can get passion from it, and you can see there's a real drive. And I prefer listening to live music than recorded music, but I think people would be in some cases the same, you know.
And is it correct? Like when you're on stage, you don't really, you have no clue how it sounds, really. Yeah, like
yeah. Well, you have a good idea of how it sounds. You have monitors on the stage, but like there's usually monitors or you'll use in-ears. Now I prefer monitors than the in-ears. I've tried the in-ears and I'm not really too much of a fan of them.
I have no clue what's that.
So in-ears are like speakers in your ear.
Yeah.
So you'll see superstars or celebrities putting them in. They usually take them out halfway through when they're singing out a tune.
I don't know actually for what it is, to be honest.
So usually when you're on stage and you have a drummer behind you, you have a bass, you have a lead guitarist and a keys player. On a stage you can't hear anything really. With the drums alone will smother a lot of it out. And so in your ears or on your monitors, you ask the stage or the sound technician, can I get more in me monitors? Can I get more of the piano? I can't hear too much of the piano. So speakers are going out to the crowd. So you're usually behind the speakers. So you can't really hear properly at all. So if you have no sound, the gig is no good. Not that it's no good, but it's gonna be shit, to be honest. I've never done.
You're aware that it sounds different when you're on the stage. It sounds totally different for you, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you hear it on stage, like for example, he might have reverb he or she might have reverb out to the crowd, and yours could be dry, and you don't have the same sound. Like, so it is sometimes.
And you rely a lot on the technician, yeah, kind of. He's your ears, kind of.
Yeah, well, you need to hear yourself. You need to be able to hear yourself and hear the people that are playing with you. If you don't, it's pointless because everybody be off time or it'll sound shit, you know.
And the next thing, kind of discipline is important in habits, and he's saying that discipline is partner of freedom. So that's a deeper one. But in general, when you create, when you do all your work, how you find the kind of discipline and actually habits, you know, they help. Do you have any kind of developed, you know, or it's just happening?
My thing is just disciplined. Like, just I would be very, like, I'd be a very kind of, let's say, motivated kind of person to get something done. I always feel like I have a challenge, or especially when I can't write something, I feel like, oh, I have to get this done, you know, or I have to get something done. I'd be very disciplined with it, with music in general. I think, like, I'd very focused, very mindset what I want to do. I have my own goals, personal goals, and I'll do wherever I have to do them, you know what I mean? And I always say, I do say this, like, I'd much prefer to lose a game than, like, winning by not being myself, you know.
I just think that discipline as well, because you're always on time. Because I'm always late when we meet or something. You're always on time.
Yeah,
You have everything
I
there.
try to always be.
Yeah. And you
Like,
think that's natural, kind of, in your
no,
case?
it's brought
or
up
you
like
work
that.
on it?
It's always like, if you're going somewhere 15 minutes early. Usually, I know today I was a couple of minutes in around 12, be around 12, but usually it's 15 minutes early for anything. If you're going on a date with somebody, if you're going to a job interview, if you're going to whatever it might be, if you're going to a gig, if the gig says to me sound check is at 5 o'clock, I'm there at 4:45, stand outside the door, ready to go. I think it's disrespectful if you're otherwise. So no, I've been brought up that way, not only by like my dad would have been as well when I was a kid. Like I've always like you kind of heard that like when if you're going for jobs or anything like that, 15 minutes early before, even on your normal day shift, it's always just a good thing to have. And like it's better to kind of, there's a great saying I heard before in general, and this saying goes for everything, and you could talk about time with this, but it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And if you think of anything in your life about that, with that saying that it relates to, you'll be blown by it every time. Everything, it's better to have more than need it, than being the opposite, than need it and have nothing.
I would say it's like the fact that you're passionate about the music, that helps, but it actually goes across your life. Yeah, it looks from what you're saying. Actually, it's not only regarding music. Yeah, it's like this.
Oh yeah,
kind of.
I'm the same outside of music. That's the thing. Like a lot of people assume when they see somebody that plays music, they're very different, or they're a different type of person. But you're the same. I'm the same with everything. Like as I said, if I'm going, I could be going for my dinner tonight. If someone says 7 o'clock tonight, we're there at 6:45 usually, you know. Unless something mad happens, like if you can't get parking and you're a few minutes or something like that. But I mean, just in general, like I'd be like that, and I think it's a form of respect as well, you know. And that'd be something like no matter what I'm doing, I'm usually, unless I don't give a fuck about it. If I don't give a shit about it, and I probably wouldn't be there in the first place. But if I didn't give a shit about it and I really didn't want to do it or something like that, I'd probably be a little bit more. I'd still be earlier on time, not really late as much, but I'd always message and say, like I'd message 4 times before I get there and say, look, I'm only this time away, I'll be there in 5 minutes, I'm only this the reason I'm stopped. But I've met many people in my life that, like I've said, we'll meet at 7 o'clock and they turn up at 20 to 8, like. And like that's great, like if you're busy or whatever, yeah, but then they come into the room and they're like, nothing happens, like nothing is, like they don't say, not that you want someone to say sorry, but they don't say I was a bit delayed, sorry, I was eating my dinner, like, because it doesn't matter. Yeah. But like sometimes people are just kind of like that, they just come in and they're just like, how's it going, how are you keeping? I'm like, I'm going home now. Like, you're here, you should have come to me in bed, like.
This one we kind of covered. The goal is to live your life in the service of art. So you serve the art, yeah. So we're talking like the art is kind of the most important, and you said you kind of understood that initially. Well, maybe that was a bit more about audience we were talking, yeah. But would you agree with this one? Yeah, because I'm not sure if we actually covered that one.
Not really, to be honest. I don't know whether I would agree with it, and I think, like for music, for me, like I will want to do this for a good while, but I think there will be a time that like a lot of musicians play their life out. You know, they play until they're 70, like and 80, and they're still doing gigs and things like that. And I think if I'm feeling like that at the time, like if I want to do it, but in my mindset now, I think I'll just get the goals I want, and then like family, and I want to do personal things as well, you know. There's a lot I want to see and a lot of things I want to do, and that kind of thing. Art, it would be important, but my life as well is important, and I like the idea of having an outside life of it as well, because I hate the whole side of it, that the industry side of it, and I just want to be normal, you know, and I will be normal. I am normal.
A few times I think maybe I misread many things that I'm saying here. Maybe I misunderstood him, but I think he's saying a few times that the art is kind of in the center. You kind of live for art. This is the most important, you know. But
at the minute, it is. At the minute, for me, it's very important to me, you know. But again, it'd be as important as me, the likings of me normal day-to-day life, and I focus on that a lot as well, you know. Both would be the same, but like I don't just drop everything and say I have to do art, you know. I spend time with my family, spend time with my friends, spend time doing little things, activities, going on holidays, and having a bit of fun as well. Take the seriousness out of it, you know.
Yeah, maybe I misread what he's saying, you know, what he meant. But because if someone will take it like literally that, okay, Lart, you know, so you meet some girl and she's saying,
sell her house and buy a canvas, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fuck off, will you?
So it could be dangerous kind of to miss kind of understand that, and maybe some people are going that.
Yeah, maybe so, but I think again it's a way of saying, it's like saying music is life, you know, or it's like saying like it's just you're somebody that's overly passionate about it, and that's fine for them, you know, if they are like that, to me.
Okay, Rubin is advising to limit bothering with everyday life tasks, and that will give you more time for creating. So maybe I was thinking about it, like, so obviously he means like okay, if you have to do the dishes, you have to hoover the house, you have to do the garden, you might not have time, obviously you go to work, you might not have to have time to create.
Yeah,
would you find out how you find the balance?
It's easy for somebody to say that that's in his position, not in a disrespectful way, but somebody that like is probably a millionaire and somebody that's probably like does music, that's his full-time thing, and only does that. That's but I think for the normal artist who is out there, that like you can't just not go to like in and do your washing. Like you can't say to your girlfriend or your wife or your partner or husband, you do everything, I'm going to be a superstar, or I'm going to be a rock star, or I'm going to go out and be creative. That's not how life goes. Maybe in his position it is, because he might meet people or have people around him that is able to say, well, you do your thing because you have that set up, and we'll do the washing the dishes, we'll do the things like that. Or he could have hired people, but in me or your position, you can't say to the people around you, I'm going out to put a tent up, you clean the whole house, you clean this, you clean that.
You can probably do it odd times or something.
You can come into the tent and I'll do the dishes in the tent. But no, just it's different people, kind of like different folks or different strokes for different folks, kind of like. For me, I wouldn't stop it anyway. I love doing all that kind of stuff. Like I like going out and going shopping. I like going to cleaning my car. I like getting my car done. I like the normal things as well, you know. Like,
but would you be letting go some things, knowing that I need that extra time?
I sacrifice. There would be a lot. I sacrifice most of my weekends, nights out that I should be. Like I sacrifice. I could be going on holidays with my mates, going to the Likens of Ibiza and going out every weekend and having good fun, and could be going out during the week, like going to football matches, watching the football on a Wednesday or watching the boxing on a Friday, and I'd sacrifice it and say I have to rehearse. But the reason I think it works for me is because I do that as well, because I think in my mindset everyone else is watching the football, everyone else is doing that, I'm the only one working. That helps me, you know.
Would you say that because you're organized, it's kind of helping you?
Yeah.
Like, and that discipline that we mentioned earlier?
Yeah, I'm very organised. That would be something that I think I am anyway, you know. I would be very organised. I know what's going on, and I work much better under pressure.
Okay, next one. Pressure. Rubin advises not to put too much pressure on oneself when it comes to creating, to not get discouraged, you know. So do you kind of...
Yeah, a lot. Sometimes when I'm writing songs, I put pressure on. I need to get this done. I need to have something done by the end of the month, or I need to have, like.
But does it discourage you, or?
Yeah, it does when you can't do it. Like, so if I, like, for example, the position I'm in at the minute, like, we're going to be announcing some shows and tours and things like that. So I'm told, right, you need to have 2 singles ready. Now, lucky enough, I do have them. But if I didn't have them songs written, and I was told that today, I have to write them songs. If I can't get them songs out, I'm going to write shit songs and put shit songs out. So then you feel like, oh, fuck. I'm not good at this, or I'm not great. And then Tuesday will come.
So it's kind of right.
Dead right.
Let it go.
100%.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And it's easy to, and you do it probably all the time. Yeah, you kind of get into
so easy to discourage yourself, you know. You can.
But I mean, also in kind of putting too much pressure all the time on yourself. Yeah,
all the time.
But you notice that and you let go then when you see that, or it's just not possible to do it, or it's very hard as well.
I try not to. I would get it, but I try as my hardest to think to myself, what I've done before I can do again. And when I say what I've done before, I've wrote good songs before, strong songs, and I know that what I'm capable of doing. So that's why that's how I kind of relieve the pressure. I do think, you know what, I've done that loads of times, I can do this again, you know.
So kind of practice and time.
Yeah, just keep going. Sometimes my songs and ideas only come to me when I'm not looking for them, you know.
So now I skip some questions, but we might go back if the batteries will let us. So third phase, he's saying third phase of creating is crafting. First one will be like, okay, you have that seed idea, then I'm actually thinking that's about then experimenting, kind of, you know, probably second phase, you're playing with it and everything, and then you're crafting the third phase. And he's saying that's obviously usually it's less fun and more work, kind of, when you kind of finishing the work. And so would you agree, kind of, you know, because again, first phase, idea, general, playing with some ideas, then playing, experimenting, you know, doing this, trying that, so it's must be fun, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
And then crafting, so you kind of probably go into studio and record
putting it together
60 times until it's perfect.
Do you know what's really enjoyable for me? I find when I'm in the house and I do write a song, and like for example, I was out, I have a little kind of cabin thing out the back that I can kind of write me songs in, or sometimes write songs in, and sometimes I'm writing these songs on a piece of paper, the back of something like not even a proper A4 pad, and then in 3 months' time I'm going to a gig and everyone's singing that song back. That's the enjoyable bit, you know, because like you literally created that in a setting like that on a bed. The bed is maybe not even made, and you're just sitting there lying down writing it, and the ideas, and then everybody in a room is singing that song and it means something to them. That's the enjoyable bit, you know.
Just thinking, because I was listening to some interview with him, I can't remember if he said it or somebody else, that when that song goes, even after 3-4 years, you play it or sing it, and you it's not that song that sometimes people hear, but you see all those things that kind of led to it from that piece of paper that you wrote on it, some, you know, bumps maybe on the way connected with it.
I'm finding with I'm at the being finding recently with songs when I'm so when I write a song, sometimes I go in the studio and record it, but then I find when I'm if I go to like do a gig, I'm singing something a little bit different because there's passion there and this energy. And then I'm thinking, oh shit, I should have done that in the studio, but I didn't know it because I didn't perform it live. So you start finding little things that you could have made better with the song.
Yeah.
But the first piece of work is usually the one, you know.
Yeah. And Rubin is advising to move to next part when you're stuck on something. He reminds that, you know, the puzzles kind of, you know, you at the start it's a mess, but then when you kind of leave maybe that part and fix everything, then at the end you kind of know, okay, that matches here. But you probably don't have that problem. Again, he's probably talking about, you know, when people stuck on something and then they really don't know what to do and they hang on it too long and forever, kind of. And instead of that, kind of, he's saying just leave it, you know, go to the next part, build that first, and then at the end go to this one, and it will work anyway.
Yeah.
Do you ever go through that, or it's not really in your life?
Not really. Some people have different things. Ed Sheeran has a thing where he says if you're writing songs, always finish the song. A lot of artists say that. I don't know whether he said he heard it from someone, but I remember hearing it. And like if you're writing a song halfway through, you can't finish it, never go on to the next song, continue writing that. For me, I don't. I'll go to the next song and write something, a whole new song, a completely different idea, and down the line I might come back to that song and pull the chorus and put it into something else, you know. So yeah, I think in ways he's right, because don't bother about the main thing. Like, focus on, not necessarily write new songs, or if you don't want to, but I mean, just look, you can do it, you know. Everyone can do it, and it's gonna come. If it doesn't come today, it'll be there tomorrow, and if it's not there tomorrow, it'll be there the following day. And if you just keep thinking like that, it might drag out a little bit longer than expected, but it will come 1,000,000%.
I think as well, there'll be next question probably, as he was explaining, like, you know, when you're a kid, when you're playing with something, you kind of get bored with it or something, it doesn't work, you just move to the next quest, kind of adventure, or something. You don't bother with so if you try to complete something that you don't really enjoy anymore, or you don't have no fun with it, it can't go far. It's not natural, as he's trying to say, probably.
The problem sometimes is with that, and something that's very interesting is, like, I throw away a lot of songs. So when I say that, like, I write a lot of songs that I just say, I'm not doing that with that. Like, so for the recent project, like, I wrote about 15 songs. I think I have 15 that I recorded, like, not in the studio, but at home demos, and just for ideas. And there's probably 5 songs in that could be my biggest or best songs, and I'll never release them.
Yeah. And
I'll never know.
he's talking about the seeds kind of at the start you have those idea seeds, and some might look, oh geez, that's gonna be something, and the other one, that looks crappy, so she said, just let them kind of grow, and then later you'll see. So you say you kind of reject, you think you lost a good few, maybe.
No, I don't know, but it's something that will always be in my head, like with that song I had before that I never put out, could that have been something that would have really done well or really worked for me?
And when you say they lost it because you didn't record it, kind of, you didn't write it down?
I did write it, and I just said, listen to it on the headphones and said I don't like it, and I never sing it again.
And now, did you change that? Like now you kind of keep
No, I still do that, yeah.
You still do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I still write lots of songs that I don't really use, and the problem is the big one or the good one could be in there, and they're gone.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
It's an interesting thing, yeah.
That's. I think I skipped some questions, but I hope we will go back to them, because I think that's really interesting, and some actually come across like the lost songs, songs, and I'm interested still in that catalog of the pop songs that you made. I hope I get them. I
could let you hear them.
Yeah, just sign them to me if you're not using them.
I wrote a good few. Yeah, I got asked in the studio and all before to write for other people, like pop artists and things like that.
So eventually, because right now I know, the inspiration, I don't know, is it vein? How you call that? Vein in Polish, but
vein, is it?
Yeah. So I say one day it might be gone, and then like, okay, let's go back to.
If I can't write them songs, I'm gonna be looking through the attic for all them books. What was that song? What way did that go? But the problem is as well is sometimes I write really good ideas, and then I go out and do something. Could be going like to the gym, I could be going training, whatever I'm doing. And then I forget about it, and then a few months later I'm thinking, oh my god, why didn't I write that song? That's a good song, And then I try write it, I can't write it, and it's back into me. So what I do is I message myself now a lot of the time on WhatsApp. I send myself a message of the songs, video recording, voice recordings, and
because it's hard to bring it back like after a while. Yes.
Then sometimes when I'm thinking, oh, I might have an idea somewhere when I'm trying to write or I can't write, I scroll back to March 2021, and I play, and I'm like, why did I never write that?
Because I mean, like, it's hard to, like, if you wouldn't use this technology, it's impossible. It's lost, yeah. Like,
I actually enjoy, believe it or not, I enjoy writing songs on paper than writing them on my phone now. How do you write down the melody? Like, how you remember, or you just? So you just come up with it. Like, so sometimes, like, you could have it could be anyway. You could have the guitar, play a couple of chords, and you just. Like, you could be. Usually, I'd start with kind of like I wouldn't be singing words, so I'd be just singing absolute garbage. Like, so it would be like, na 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 na, and then I'd be like, I was gonna go na 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 na, and I'd find the first 2 or 3 words, and then just all that.
So usually that's the tune that's coming to your head.
The tune just comes in,
and then you add lyrics, kind of.
Then I'd add the lyrics usually, yeah. Or sometimes I'll have the lyrics first, and I'll put a tune over it. Shit, I'm at the wet in your books.
The Ashburn one, yeah?
I'll enjoy them now.
No, don't worry. No, don't move it, because it will be... It's fine. Oh, it's fine.
You sure?
Yeah, don't worry. Art is more important here. The possessions. Actually, that question, I'll just go back to it. Try to read it. Might be too long, but I think it's about stucking kind of in the project too long, kind of. But I just read it. Maybe it will make sense.
Yeah.
So sometimes deadlines might help, because often there's no fear to finish the piece. So yeah, that's about that kind of stucking in one project too long. So feeling you kind of feel, it's not perfect yet. So he's reminding us that a particular piece of art we create is never revealing us in full. So kind of as well, you may be stuck because you want to show everybody, that's still not me, but it's not going to be ever you, because you have different faces and everything. So so extending creation is killing it, actually, because it's not going to be a moment anymore. It's going to be kind of like 3 years of different kind of you working on it. Also, we could start creating next thing. So by just sticking in it, we wasting other maybe ideas. Robin saying to share it. Just share it and avoid overthinking. The more we share, the more our skills improve. Also, not sharing is like stopping kind of river flowing. The ideas will not be appearing. He's saying that fear of drought, kind of lack of ideas, and impulse for perfection is blocking us. He reminds us that the work we do is always at most just a chapter. It's not going to be our life kind of achievement or something like that. It's just going to be chapter after chapter, at the most. It could sometimes end up with this dispiriting feeling when we eventually complete it and share it, art that we are not connected with anymore. So that was a long one, but you kind of get what it means,
I definitely agree with the thing of dragging it out a little bit, Sometimes if you drag work out, or I find if you drag something out, you are limiting yourself to other working on something that's another project or something that could be great, I definitely agree. I just cut it. I'd cut it. I feel like this is dragging on too long. I'd just say, yeah, done.
So you did experience that? That's one
yeah, definitely. Yeah, most definitely. You always experience, because you think, how long is it supposed to be? How long should you be working on a project? There's no set time frame, but when you start feeling that lack of love for that particular project, then I think move on. Don't put it out there if you want. I wouldn't put it out if I didn't like it. I'd just leave it and fucking start again.
Would there be something that you kind of let go and then go back to it after a year or two or whatever?
Yeah, I not necessarily a project that take years, but yeah, there would be some little things like if I'm working on, say, an album, I might start it and then say, right, I'm going to start focusing on some singles and then go back to the album. But I'd prefer to kind of go on the album, then go on the singles, go again, do it consistently sooner than gapping it up, if that makes sense.
Actually, I'm thinking, do you know, because you obviously know a few people in the art world, do you know people kind of that actually are stuck on some stuff for too long, kind of?
Yeah, sometimes you do get people asking you, could you give them a hand, or could you give them a dig out with, if they're working on a song for ages. I'm trying to write this song and there's certain parts of it I just can't get something for, I can't get this. There would be some people, yeah, but I think it depends. I would be more, for me, again, I wouldn't let it get in on me. Don't create another piece. You're creative anyway, you'll come up with something. And if that one doesn't work, and if it was the best project you ever worked on.
And would you agree also that, the art piece of art is not really showing whole you, never. It's just showing a piece of you
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I think people assume what people are like from the work they create, and they don't know them at all. Yeah, most definitely. And I think there's a nice side to that in a way, because it makes it a little bit mysterious. You think you know somebody, you think you know what way they are because of the type of songs they write or the way they sing or who they are, and then you meet them. And I remember hearing a guy before, he was singing and he was had a proper big soul voice, and this voice I never heard before, and I thought he has to be American, or and the reason I say American, he reminded me of a Motown kind of vibe, this amazing voice. And then someone said he's from Wexford, and it turns out it's Maverick Sabre, who's an unbelievable artist. But when I first heard his voice, I didn't see him, and I thought I knew the person from it. And then when I seen him, I was like, that's amazing. It's just complete. It blew me kind of mind, so to speak, It
reminds me, actually, Rick Rubin also, he has really nice, cool, deep voice, kind of.
Yeah. So he's a soothing voice. He's the type of voice that you can listen to, on the Calm app on your phone when you need to go to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
You can rest.
Rubin's saying that artists usually are or experimenters or finishers. Which one are you, kind of? And also he sees limitations as opportunities. And that novel problem can lead to original solutions, So experimenter or finisher?
Finisher. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely, I'll finish it. I'll find
That's, I think, what I noticed, they kind of get the song.
Yeah.
You never, I was kind of pushing on those experiments. I don't think you experiment too much, kind of.
No,
you kind of have that vision.
I wouldn't be I usually know what I want and know what I'm going to do, and I'll get it from the songs,
And did you notice any kind of, there were some issues or something that kind of helped you to come up with something new, or it doesn't really happen to you often or at all?
Just going back to that thing of going outside, seeing things outside, seeing different people, talking to different people, just figuring things out and doing the normal life that helped me, you know. That's what does help me, I suppose.
And again, probably we cover that. Rubin says art is about the maker. It's expression of who we are. In this context, he finds competition also the absurd kind of, you know, when you kind of focus on art. We might go back to this one later as well. Author not believing competition can push you to greatness in art. He quotes Roosevelt, who said that comparison is thief of joy. Yeah, comparison. It's a different story when others inspire and we great and we kind of do something, we create because of the inspiration. He says growth is over superiority and that we can only compete with ourselves. So basically, he doesn't believe competition kind of really in art exists. Like everyone is doing different thing.
Yeah, I think in terms of that, it's definitely correct. I think there's room for, like, there's an audience for everybody out there, you know, and there's room for everybody out there. I don't really, I would be competitive in certain ways, but I wouldn't focus on what anyone else is doing, you know. It's let them do their thing, you do your thing, you're in your alley, and go ahead and forget about all the, and it's right about the inspiring thing as well. Instead of looking at it as competition, like I see other artists that I might be on a support tour with or a support gig, and instead of saying like these are like the best artists that I've ever worked with or anything like that, you can say like they inspire you to do what they're doing, you know what I mean? And I'd love to do that then, you know, and that's a nice thing. But in terms of like competition as an overall in music, there's no point, because there's always going to be someone out there that's better than you.
Yeah, because that's a deep one. She's saying it's absurd that it, you know, competition, even, you know, if people bother, but there's some people that are very competitive probably in
Most
music.
definitely,
Yeah,
most
like
definitely.
I'm a best, let's say, sorry, just giving first
Drummer,
example, drummer.
songwriter, yeah. But maybe that would help people as well. Some
And
people
do you
are
see
driven.
that? Sorry for interrupting.
Most definitely, yeah.
You see that?
Yeah, all the time, all the time. There's a lot of competition out there. Like there's,
because he's right about it, Rubin here. I think he's right about it.
he is.
But it's the real world.
It's definitely around like 1,000,000%. It's like I have family that would be competitive against what I do, you know, like, and what any other people are doing and that, and it's definitely there. But you just don't worry about it and fuck them.
I think he was giving some examples of, I think, some song, let's say from Beatles, and you know, someone else heard their song and said, Jesus, I like this one, and he created new song kind of based on that, but not really to make it to, you know, better or something, but
yeah,
he was inspired to create something new. And you know, then I think whatever McCartney,
if the world was like that, that'd be like, that's the perfect place. If people were to say, instead of putting people down and saying, oh, he's not good, when they know he is really good, or he is, instead of doing that, if the world was like, you know what, I enjoy that song, let's kind of not copy him or not do what he's doing because it's already done, so there's no point, but let's use references from it or examples from it that might work on this. I've done it in studios before, certain songs, like I've said, I'd love to kind of have, like, for example, like a bass line from a Beatles song or from a band I like, we'll say, if it's Arctic Monkeys or something like that, I like that bass line. Can we get something kind of along the lines, that feel, that buzz, but we're not copying the same song, you know?
Yeah, so that's yeah. And to, again, percentage wise, you've in terms of inspiration, your songs would be like 100% original, kind of 90% original. How would you see that? Like when I say original, like in, you know, inspired or something, or they just came
100% original, I reckon.
And did you write in the past kind of songs that were kind of based on? No, it didn't.
Not
happen.
that.
Which is not. I'm not saying this
no,
is
there's
bad
nothing wrong with it, because loads of people do it. Like lots of people would do it, and they'd kind of. I don't think some songs might sound like other songs, but I don't think I've ever done that intentionally.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, I've always tried to just do my own thing. I don't listen to music when I'm writing songs either. I would have said that before. There's not, like, I kind of keep the radio on as the talking on the radio interviews and that, sooner than listen to actual music, because then you start to sound like them.
You do get kind of sneak into your...
Yeah, into the idea. So unless I'm looking for it in the studio, like in terms of a certain part of the song. But the songwriting and the writing the song is never a copy of anyone. I never would, because I think I wouldn't be able to go out and say I'm different to others then, you know. And I think I am. So
And actually, going back to really back, and can't remember if I sent you that before. Like Rubin, obviously he's a producer, so I think it's different angle. He was saying, I never listened back to songs that I produced, but producing songs, I imagine, is different when you make songs, yeah, and create them, write them.
Yeah, well, see, when you're producing a song, like you wouldn't listen back to it. Maybe wouldn't listen back to it, but you listen to it a lot while you're producing it. Like you're going over, like you producing a song is not just pressing a few keys. Like you're probably doing it, don't know how many times you'd say, but maybe 1,000 times, and like within 2 or 3 days, like you could be listening to that song while you're producing it, and at the very end, you probably wouldn't listen to the final. You've heard it really, but you might not listen to the final master or whatever of it, you know.
Because I kind of went back to that question because you mentioned earlier that it did sound like you wouldn't listen to your stuff as well, but obviously you prefer always to sing it. I imagine.
No, I don't really listen. I don't listen to live stuff, and I wouldn't watch back on interviews or anything like that, or listen back to podcasts or any of that kind of stuff that I do.
And you're not that stage now to listen to your stuff. You have so many ideas, I imagine.
I listen to, like, if I record a song, I listen to it most definitely.
But it's not like you play home, I play all my 20, 30 songs. How many songs you would say you have right now, by the way?
Released or written?
Done, kind of, yeah. Hard to describe, yeah, because there might be something almost done or something.
I definitely have over 200 songs written. Easily.
But the kind of done, ready, I would probably release this closer.
Released, maybe... Probably about 10 or 15, but I've pulled some off the internet as well. I've taken some down.
Which one you took?
Almost anyone.
Why?
It's gone.
When? And why?
I was starting off. I was new to music again. Like I stopped music for years and I came back, and starting off I was new. I don't like it. I don't feel like it represents me, and I don't think it's...
I thought you always like it. That's why, to be honest,
I love singing it live. It's a great song live, but the recorded version is like a dance vibe to it, and that's just not me, you know. And I would have been immature as an artist then, if that makes sense. So I would have been still only learning, finding my voice. I still am finding my voice. I'm still doing it, but there was a couple of songs that I thought, you know what, I'll get back to that. I'll re-record that properly the way I do it. And
because I kind of, just a few days ago, I don't know, you might skip that message, but I kind of told you that
almost anyone
that it doesn't really, you know, like it's not my number one, and it's kind of, you know, on the edge.
Yeah, it was one of the 4 songs I wrote as when I came back to do solo stuff, so has a kind of little part to me. But it's a good sing-along song. I like singing it sometimes, but is it the best song I've ever wrote? No, far from it.
But you want to fix it, kind of.
Oh yeah, I'll go back into the... I'm gonna redo Mother. I'm gonna redo Follow Your Soul. I'm gonna do all them. I feel like I've developed massively since I've recorded them songs.
So now you see there's some bits missing in them.
Oh yeah, I feel like I feel when people say to me, "Where can I hear your music?" I try to tell them not to listen to the old stuff, because it's old, and that's not what I am now. And I feel like I'm a much better artist and a much better performer, singer, and writer than I was then.
And you wouldn't, because we were just talking about that stucking in one project or something, but it wouldn't be like that. With music, it's you have that time to do it. Yeah, it's not like it will not take you 5 years to do one song.
If I wake up tomorrow and say I'm going to record almost anyone, I wouldn't be the type that will seek people's approval for it. I'll just do it and just go and get it done, you know.
Interesting. Rubin talks about the essence to check what's really necessary in the piece. He reminds that less is more. He quotes that I don't know how to pronounce his name, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry or something, you know, the one who made that Little Prince book, who said that when you can't add anything anymore, when you can't add anything anymore and can't remove anything, then it's kind of perfection, you know. So and plus also, if you remove something, you can always add it back. But obviously we're talking now about that stage of mixing and everything.
Yeah,
you see that as well, like, you know,
probably the most relative part, that and the no rules thing, but that would be one of the most relative parts of the book to me. When I go into the studio, we add everything and we strip it back. We always pull it back to nearly bare. Less is more, like in a house, like in a sitting room. It's always better to have less than more in terms of like clutter or whatever. And with the songs, I've always had that approach. I've always said, look, I don't want the saxophone on the song. I don't want the trumpet. We'll try it,
I'm hoping
But
for trumpets.
I know you are, but I'm not fucking doing it. No, yeah, no, less is more for me, man. The more deep and kind of, I think the more vulnerable and just yourself, the guitar, and maybe a few little bits, I think is
And you feel, obviously, because you just said you want to go back to some songs, so obviously you feel that balance is not there in those songs. Yeah, it is.
yeah, the old songs are not like, I think anything I've released maybe in the last year has been my strongest work to date. I think Mother and Follow Your Soul are two of my strongest written songs, as well as with regards to enjoying listening. But I think the recording quality of them, not necessarily the quality, I think the recorded project, probably down to myself, to the way I was singing them, and that is very basic. And yeah, I will get back to them, definitely.
Okay, this one could be very general. Okay, so he says, and we partially probably covered that. He says that nobody really knows how masterpiece gets done. Artists might think they know, but it's just their kind of interpretation. We make assumptions to explain things. You know, expressing yourself is all that matters. All artists form of poetry, always changing, never fixed. Rubin reminds that creator stops being creator when he finishes the work. He becomes a viewer, audience. It's all magic kind of realm. Nobody knows why or how it works. So we kind of covered that. But you might have some extra thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think again with the lichens, with any project, I think when it's finished, you do listen to it as you put in your mind that you're somebody else listening to it, you know. And I would do that as well a little bit when if I listen, say like a mix from the studio, I'd listen to it and try to think to myself, like, I'm listening to this as Ciaran, not as the fella that created it, you know, and seeing what I like of the song. That can be difficult as well, though. That can be hard, listening to a song or something you've made and putting into your head, right, I'm not listening to this as someone that wrote, because you obviously think it's good in some way, or it's going to be good. Like, it's not many artists out there. In fact, there's probably none at all. There's not many people that will get a mix back from a producer, listen to it and say, that's shit, I can't wait to release it, it's released on the 28th. You know, they don't do that. So you always assume it's good, but it's good to try and find that thing where you're listening as yourself, not necessarily as an audience. I wouldn't say an audience, because I'd be more just for myself. How would I listen to that song if I was looking at someone else singing this song as Ciaran? How do I like it?
Because when you're in the studio, I imagine you're very focused on those little bits, okay, and then when you listen, okay, those trumpets or chimes or something. So is it true that you would kind of stop listening to the song as a whole, as just like a song, or you too focused on those little bits? Or
yeah, if you're finding something that's annoying you, like if I find something that's annoying me in the song, could be a word I said wrong or a way I sang it, and if that's annoying me, every time I listen to that song, that's the only part I can think of the song, you know.
But is it that's what I'm trying to say, and maybe for audience would be fine, but because you're kind of so focused on that little bit, it kind of distracts you from hearing the song. I don't know how to explain it as a whole, kind of.
Yeah, I get you.
Kind of meant.
I think
the studio kind of disturbing when you work, when you're too long, kind of also in studio.
Yeah,
you don't have that.
Not really, no. But something that you say there, like the lichens of the thing about the audience is the parts that you think are wrong, no one ever knows it's wrong, because it's an original song and it's not out there yet. So like, if I think I'm singing this a little bit wrong, sure, who can tell me any other different? Like, who can say that's wrong? So
they will always take it as, okay, that's the way it's supposed to be.
That's the way it is. It's like when you play, if I play a gig and I sing a word wrong of a new song, if I say to people, I'm going to sing a new song, and I sing the second verse wrong, the wrong words, so they don't know. They don't know what the second verse is in the first place, you know?
It doesn't bother you at all, yeah?
No.
Yeah.
I just do it.
So, okay, another one. When 10 times kind of didn't work, all it meant you just ruled out 10 options. Again, I don't know if that applies to you, but like an experiment. So you kind of try something and it doesn't work, and he just means like, okay, that doesn't mean you're a failure. Okay, you kind of just ruled out 10 bad options, you know, and you're closer by that number to the final. There are no mistakes, he says. Sometimes those mistakes are what actually makes the work great. He says that humanity breeds with mistakes. I'm not sure if that applies to you, because you don't really live with mistakes here when you make songs, or you struggle with that?
No, if I make mistakes, sometimes I listen to the mistake. Like I made a mistake on the spoken word piece I done on the singing bit, and I asked could I keep it. Like I said this.
So you actually like the mistake?
Yeah, because it makes it real. It makes it especially if you're singing about something that's real.
Okay.
So sometimes
actually, I thought you will have no fats.
No,
on
I
this
do.
one.
Yeah, I would. So on Better Days, the what was it? The introduction, Better Days of Life in Our City. I would have. There was a part where I sing. I remember the times we danced in the rain, and it's a big high bit, like, and it sounds like it doesn't sound great, but it sounds like me. And I said to Stuart, like, it was like, "Do you want to re-record it?" I was like, "Leave it. I love it."
Like, yeah,
it's a mistake. It was a mistake.
Because from my side, it kind of all perfect, but obviously I don't see all the behinds.
Yeah, no. The like I them songs could be even more perfect. They could be smoothened, and there could be things done to make me sound like will.i.am.
So, yeah, so you actually kind of breed on mistakes. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, well, not all the time, but yeah. I'd listen to mistakes.
Yeah.
Let's hear that again, you know, in case it is nice.
Yeah. Because I was also thinking about that moment you said, "Oh, that I go to studio and let's do it as rough as possible," kind of.
Yeah, that's it. That's
not looking for smooth stuff, kind of.
No, never look for smooth. Sure, if you look for smooth stuff, you'll sound like the guys on the radio.
Yeah, yeah. Don't want a really straight line. A bit of curves
not
here
again. Not like that's bad, but you're the same. So it's so hard to do what you want to do then, because you're just the same, you know.
And also, yeah, that's actually next question. You know, like sometimes you kind of have that vision of song or something. It's really cool in your head, or like that, trying to apply that to the music. But in reality, you try to make it, and you can't. It ever happened that, and you kind of, in the end, you kind of end up maybe with something even better, or you're happy with it. But would it ever happen that you had some vision? Oh, I have that. This song will be. No, in my head, like not your stuff. Your stuff is maybe okay, I will have drums here. You know, the guy on the bell here, and it's, you know, the cows will start singing in the background. Yeah. And then reality kind of like, I can't do that.
Loads of times, Martin. Loads. It's happened before when I thought, like I've often said, I'm gonna have a big choir in this song. I'd love a big choir for this song, and when I listen to it, I think, nah, that doesn't need that, you know. Or when I play it. Like that happens a lot. That happens to everyone being creative though. Like you have intentions. Everyone has a vision of what it'll be, and usually it turns out different. It's never really what you first think it's going to be. I don't think anyway.
And you think in your head they're much kind of, I don't know how to say, nicer, and then in reality it's not.
Yeah, not sometimes that happens to me a lot with music videos. When I'm trying to write ideas for a music video, I have like great intentions, and then something completely different happens. Doesn't mean it's worse. Sometimes it's a lot better than the idea I had, because someone else has given me a better idea for a music video. But it can be both ways, to be honest.
Because when it comes to singing, I'm thinking that sometimes maybe you would like to, okay, I will go here from that note to that note, and then we go this way, that way, and then in reality, okay,
I never really think like that.
Or
no, not really. No, I just sing the way I do. Like I just sing it, and sometimes I don't have intentions of doing it, and then I do a live gig and that note comes out. Sometimes the opposite happens. So, yeah, no, that is interesting. Like it can work both ways. Sometimes you can get better than what you expect, and sometimes you can get worse.
Okay, artists like choice. People due to evolution in general like simplicity, not really choice. Lack of choice is obviously boring. Artists should aim to expand their point of view, should check out extremes and learn. Curiosity is key, and curiosity doesn't also take sides. So you obviously agree, you know, trying different things, you know.
Yeah, give it a go. Yeah. Give it a go. If it works, it works, and if it doesn't,
artists like choice. You would agree that obviously lack of choice is boring, yeah? Like
yeah, well, if you hadn't got choice, you'd be fucked. If you hadn't got choice, you'd be stuck to one thing. You have the choice to try things out. Try it out, and if you don't like it, you don't have to do it, but you have the choice. It's good to have the choice.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking if that applies kind of, I'm thinking what it applies to, you know, like...
So, for example, if I was writing, if there was 4 genres in the world, and one was reggae, one was rock, one was hip-hop, and one was pop.
Yeah.
And you wanted to do gospel, but there's no choice to do that. No one's done it, and there's no option to do it. sure, there'd be no amazing gospel music out there then, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you have choices of different things. You have choices of different instruments. You have the choice of putting a fucking... Noel Gallagher had someone playing a scissors on TV and he sung. Like someone literally playing a scissors. That's a choice you have to do, and if you like it, do it.
Yeah, and you mentioned as well, because he's talking about those trying extremes. You said sometimes you have that courage to do something that others wouldn't.
Yeah, I write a lot about, I think, what others wouldn't write about. And yeah, I'd try anything. Not anything in that way, but I try anything as in once I'm in, it fits in me lane. I know me limits as well. Like I know what I can sing and I know what I can't sing, or I know what I can play and what I can't play. You won't get me doing one of them screaming metal songs, like, because I wouldn't be able to do it, like, you know. But I would be very, I'd have no bother trying something, you know what I mean? Mess about with it and give it a go. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, throw it in the bin.
Being an artist is 24/7 commitment involving both active creative work and a state of readiness to transition into creative process at any moment. So I think it means like, okay, you're driving car, but you suddenly have your
Yeah, he's
idea.
right. Yeah, but
It's not like you can sit, oh, I'm doing that from 9 to 5 and, you know.
Yeah, it's something that anytime, like, I could get an idea while you're talking to me about a song, you know, and yeah, it is in your mind 24/7 usually, unless you're asleep, and sometimes when you're asleep you can dream about it, so that's...
And you, because the question kind of was also like how you balance that with life and everything, because you have to be kind of ready for create.
I think that's one of my strong things, to be honest. I think I'm good with balancing it. Like I can balance it, and then I can enjoy my life as well and forget about the, you know, like sometimes people praise you and tell you you're good and tell you that your music is good, and then not next day you're sitting eating cornflakes and my ma is sitting in front of me and we're not talking about that. And I'm good with that balance. That's something I'm very good with. I don't dwell on it too much. Like I don't sit around thinking anything like that. I do me music, I do me normal things, and I'm good. That's something I'm strong at, I think, you know. I think.
Yeah, that was the question. Yeah. And it's interesting. I think that discipline and everything, yeah, that works all together.
Yeah.
And next on, Rubin insists there's no difference between work created accidentally and one that was made kind of in sweat and struggle. And at the same time, he's saying every work contains lifetime of experience. I think that's what I was saying. Like when you do some or listen to your song or sing a song, and you kind of see all that kind of to lead to it, and it's not like it's just that moment, that song. It's hard to explain probably. But this question is probably about something else. So you know, it doesn't matter if you just write song like that in seconds or it took you 5 years. It's kind of the same. And he mentions Dylan can write straight away.
Yeah.
Cohen, he's writing he can write like 3 years one song, and at the end kind of value is the same. Would you agree, or would you have some thoughts on it?
There's a thing out there. People always say the fastest songs are the best songs. There's that thing, but nah, I wouldn't write a song for 3 years now. If I had a song for 3 years, like, I'd probably give up if I couldn't write a song for 3 years. Maybe Cohen has a way of doing that takes him 3 years and he can write other things, but I'd kind of write, I'd be a little bit like, it could take me, like the new song It's Okay took about 10 minutes, maximum 15 if there was 15. And for example, Unsung Heroes took me about 3 days. I could have written it the first night. I wrote the whole thing, but I'll change it a few times before I class it as finished.
So that's the recent example. Would you have like bigger kind of examples that you know, some song that was really easy to do and took you seconds, as you said?
Yeah, it's
and someone took you a little bit longer.
Mother was very short. It's Okay was very short.
Mother, actually, I think it's probably one of your best songs still. I think, I know every new one is best one for you.
Yeah, no, I'm aware.
It took you
Mother
seconds
is
to write, like, not seconds, but
Mother is one of my strongest songs, definitely. Some of the fastest ones that have been written would be up there, but I wouldn't agree with that the fastest songs anyone wrote. Like songwriting camps, some hits that's out there today, songwriting camps can be a week long where they're writing songs, you know.
And was there any particular that you remember you really struggled with, like?
Ah, loads, Martin. Usually I don't. They're the ones that I don't finish. If it takes after, the average would be about average out like probably a day or 4 days. If I don't think I'd ever spend longer than a week actually writing a song. To be honest with you, I think I'd be bored of it. Move on.
So it's different time frame, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
When we're talking about not
Depends.
3 years,
No,
3 years of
3
color
years.
or
Nah,
something.
fuck that.
Okay. When Choice try to minimize Choice to two options, he's saying because too many is just too cloudy, and if it's not helping, toss the coin, and before kind of coin goes down, the one that you're kind of the idea that you're rooting for, that's the one you like, so just go with this one. You never have those kind of probably dilemmas that, okay, I have which should I go with, this, I don't know, guitar or electric guitar, or
No, not really. I'd have it when I'm releasing songs. Like if I'm releasing an EP, what song should I release first as a single? And the way for that is just see what people think around me, close people. What do you think works? What do you think doesn't? And go to the producer and trust his advice as well. Sometimes people feel they know it all, but there's no harm in asking your producer or someone you're working with, what do you think would be cool as a first single, or the PR team that you're working with, whoever it may be. So yeah.
But not really struggling with those kind of choices.
No,
or
I'm
something.
not struggling.
Yeah.
I'm the disaster with things like that. I just say, okay, now I'm going with it, and then forget it. Like things like that wouldn't bother. I wouldn't let anything bother me like that, Too short in life.
Next one, and again, I'm not sure if that applies at all to yourself. He's saying that sometimes, like being superstitious can help. If that helps, like just be superstitious or whatever. Wearing your lucky hat or something, just first example that I can think about.
Yeah.
What would be your thoughts?
Not with the
on
creative process. Not with creative. Like, if I'm going, like I'd be super. Like the chain I have, I feel I've had a lot of luck. I feel like I get luck with it, and when I don't have it, I feel I'm not as lucky. When I'm talking about luck, I could get a big opportunity for a gig. I could be playing a gig. I could be. Then when I don't have it on, I feel like nothing's going right.
Clearly, like superstitious.
Superstitious in general life, but with music, like I don't have a specific pen I use, or I don't say I need to use this guitar. I just fucking write the songs, write good songs, and
if it's butt naked or
nah, it could be anywhere.
Do you know actually guys around you that are a little bit superstitious about something, or just wondering if you see that around, kind of,
No, not really.
Not really, yeah.
No, the only thing I would say is being in a quiet space. Like I think that's important, but I wouldn't really. I don't really know anyone that has to have a certain thing to write songs or.
And do you
think that's
am I
bollocks.
right? You wouldn't like to, because he's saying, oh, if you are fine, but you don't really want to build something like that. They say call it a habit like that. That, geez, I need that lucky hat every time, and then one day you don't have that hat and you start falling apart only because of that. It's not about that.
No, sure, I don't need it now, so why would I need it then?
Yeah.
If I didn't need it from the start, I'll never need it. But no, I think, to be honest with you, like I think superstitions outside of that, I don't know, maybe some people have got that, they feel like they're lucky if they're doing it, I nearly drowned about a year ago in Lanzarote. I came off a jet ski, and it was it was a bad incident, like it was a bad thing to happen, and it wasn't a joke or anything, like where you just fall off. Like I kind of crashed, and I have that superstition that the only reason that I kind of lived that day was because of my chain, and that's just life things. It's not about songwriting. Like I don't have to have me lucky underpants on to write a song, I'm
just thinking, like, maybe saying like that's like when it's kind of larger than life situation, you try to explain it somehow, and saying like obviously art would be larger than life, and there, like we were talking, it's impossible to explain how things are being done. So maybe people try to somehow kind of explain it. Okay, it's probably happened because I was using that pen.
Yeah, I think that limits you though. I think that limits yourself. If you say I can only do it when I do this, you're limiting yourself. You're restricting yourself from doing it without it. But
you say no to that, and you would say no to this kind of.
Yeah, I'd say no to art, but superstition in general, I definitely agree with,
Okay, art is an act of decoding, yeah, like language kind of decoding. Practice, study, research helps. Art is like language. You need to learn it in order to fully communicate your vision. Can be superb without it when you're lucky or whatever. But you know, obviously, no, knowledge can't hurt unless obviously you would use it in some bad way. By having knowledge, you have that enlarged menu kind of. He's saying that but in the end you still can pick something simple from the menu. But if you I imagine it's like knowing playing loads of instruments or something. In the end you can
Still only
play on Bowron or something. But if
Yeah.
it not no harm kind of in knowing more.
No, there's not. But like I know some musicians that are like really, really talented. Like they can play. I play with some musicians that are really like extremely talented. But you don't like it's amazing to do that. And I can play a couple of little bits on different things, and it's great having an idea of certain things. But you don't need it. It's not essential to know how to operate a MacBook to record your music, or it's not essential to know how to play drums or piano or guitar or sing. As I said, I know people that can play everything and they've done nothing, you know, themselves. So, not in a bad way, just being realistic about it. If does when I say done nothing, I mean like they probably never wrote a full song or released a full song yet. Or never done a gig, and yet they're probably more talented than the best in the world or in Ireland, you know.
Like he's kind of saying that, yeah, like okay, you can still be successful without knowing.
Yeah,
But like,
he's dead right.
But no, he's saying that, like no harm in knowing. And my question actually would be as well, right now, like you have some thoughts. Okay, I might learn this one or that thing, or maybe I don't know, because I don't know nothing about singing, but maybe I can do something about, you know, to change my scale of, you know, the voice that can go. You thinking about those things, or are you kind of happy with what?
No, I've done it before. I went to singing lessons and all before, and to learn how to breathe better when I'm singing, learn how to avoid getting sore throats. No, I'll always. You'll never know everything. I'll always want to develop in some way. Like I'm gonna learn piano. I'm gonna introduce some piano to my live show as well soon, and do one or two songs on the piano. And yeah, I'll always be learning. Like I'd never limit and say like just play guitar and sing. Like, I'm currently working on learning how to not necessarily produce, but to record songs and mix and put demos together and things like that. And I've done that quite well for the space of time that I've done it. So I'm always learning, always trying to learn, you know.
I'm not sure if I phrase it right, because obviously you don't need those things.
I get that. You don't. You're
not like insulting way, kind of. Like you're not learning a new thing every day.
Not. No,
you
like,
know what I mean. Like
when you look at Johnny Cash, for example, look at the song "Hurt." I know it's a song from 9 Inch Nails. I always refer to this song, but that song's a guitar and a vocal. Simple. The lyrics are simple. Everything is straightforward. It's magic.
But that makes me actually think about your songs. Most of these songs, you're obviously adding, you know, there's band and everything, but I think most of them guitar probably is enough. Or maybe there's some that I can't think right now about that really needs a band or something. But
yeah, it depends on what you're doing. I think a live show, the full band brings a bit of a buzz and energy to the gig as well, you know. But yeah, the guitar, for me, that's what I want to do. I want to have it just with the guitar and my voice. That's what it's about, kind of, you know. Because when I introduce the band stuff, it is strong. Like a lot of it is strong, and there's some great elements to it, and a lot of great elements, in fact. And the musicians are top players. But you lose. So I was explaining this to someone recently. My thing for getting people to enjoy my music first is the guitar and the voice thing, where I just go out and I'm raw as fucking vulnerable. And then when I do a live show, I kind of bring the full band. The big shows, I introduce the full band to it, and that's kind of like for the people that are there. But I think if I went out to try and build an audience with the full band, I wouldn't. I don't think the full band makes me unique, if that makes sense. Yeah. I think it strips.
Do you like the same way the performance with band? And
I loved it. I do. I'd be lying if I said no. I love the performance with the band, and I love the lads and Mairead that I work with. They're great. great musicians, you know.
Would you say it's like 50-50 or
No, I
go back
prefer.
to percentage?
I'll be honest. I prefer the solo stuff. Definitely, I perform better and I get a better reaction with the solo stuff. Yeah, I do prefer the solo stuff. But when I say solo stuff, I could have a keys player or a guitarist with me, or even violin. So, just stripped back and raw. I love that kind of stuff. That's something that means that's what I want to do. You know, that's where I'd love to be going into the big room, just with my guitar on my own, banging out them songs, the slow ones and deep, and everyone quiet and that.
And after working long time on piece, you might lose proper judgment. You know, you need to take a break and detach. Mixing process is hard. So you stop listening to song as a whole. You focus on changes, small bits, avoiding looking at work too often. So he's recommending to avoid looking at work too often, and he's also mentioning that meditation is helpful as a reset button here, or can run, or for example you can do something totally different to kind of I don't know, take a break, reset yourself. Do you have that when kind of doing when working in the studio, or that you kind of like, oh geez, I don't know, I don't know anymore, which is it good or bad? You know, I need a break or something.
No, I don't really.
Nothing like that.
No, not really, man.
No
No
meditation, nothing like that. Not yet.
I don't like meditation is
No, but I don't mean like
meditation would be very popular now.
Yeah,
It's a very trendy thing to do, you know. For me,
You don't need that at all.
I haven't needed that, but I haven't tried it, so I might give it a go sometime.
Next one, context matter. Rubin advising to change it when things don't work. Again, for you, things always work. Yeah? You don't have that problem that you have to kind of change environment.
Maybe
or
they
something.
don't work. I just don't really. I have changed my environment recently, and I've changed a good few bits. So, yeah, you could be right with that as well.
Because he's talking about like I kind of simplified, but he's saying, oh, sometimes you're doing something and okay, it's like, okay, playing that slow, okay, maybe I don't go faster, or the other way around, or maybe louder. Do you kind of?
No, not as
really.
much change my style, but I made me surroundings. I would like I could not. I haven't changed my producer, but I work with Stuart, who is amazing. But I could, like, if I felt like I wasn't getting the best music out of that studio, you can change your producer, or if you're not getting something out of a manager, you can change your manager, and I do that, yeah. If I to get the best work out of me, thankfully the studio I'm in at the minute is amazing, you know, and Stuart is amazing. I always kind of credit him for the work he does and the good friendship that we have.
And this one we technically covered. So art will or might not support you. So some people, they think, okay, I'll do this because, that will bring me money or something. And he's saying, like, you serve art. If you need to choose between supporting yourself or art, he's saying choose art. Success is harder to come up with. Your life kind of depend on it. Choose job that gives you mental space for creating art. So it's kind of in general, like, obviously it's not your full-time job yet. So he's saying, like, okay, don't think about art that, okay, what it will give me, kind of.
Yeah, the idea of not like, it's not dependent on the art to give you the money. You can do that. You can go and do pub gigs. I could make a living full-time of doing pub gigs every weekend. Temple Bar singing Irish ballads. I don't. I've never done it for the money. I've said this on several interviews and things like that. If I was doing it for the money, I would have leaving this a good while ago. It's nothing really in it. That's nothing, and you can fund certain things, projects and that, but it's not livable.
And your current work is kind of giving you, without going into details, giving you that kind of mental space that you can
I'm not going to
and
put that in though, because I wouldn't include that. I do work outside of it, but yeah, it would in general, yeah.
So it helps you, and
yeah, it can make, well, like I mean, if I get
giving
paid
you that
for,
space,
if I get, yeah, definitely. But if I get gigs, if I do a gig and I get paid from the gig, I usually put it off the recording. I don't use gig money for pleasure, so to speak.
I know he is obviously saying that, okay, like, if possible, get job that will be kind of
good for
music related as well, or is it or can kind of drag you down?
I like the idea of being separate. I wouldn't even tell people that I would. I do music and work really.
Because as you just said, you could be kind of into music, working.
Yeah, you could be doing pub gigs, or you could be working in a music shop.
But you think that could kind of limit you in a way, kind of.
It would
do you
make
understand?
me. I think I'd appreciate getting paid for it more than I would for nothing and going
You
like
could focus on that aspect.
yeah, probably yeah. If you're getting paid for doing a half an hour or an hour in a pub in Temple Bar, or you're travelling to Galway as a support act and not getting a euro, not even money for diesel.
Same like you wouldn't like to work in, let's say, music studio.
No, I
Or
wouldn't be into it. No. When I'm done, I'd probably like to maybe write songs for people or maybe record.
as the
No,
next kind of
or
step in
maybe
a career,
manage an
kind of.
artist.
Yeah,
Yeah, but not.
When you said it, when you will have enough of kind of singing live. Or
When I'm
something
done
like
with it,
that. Yeah.
I'll always have some sort of thing with it, but not as much involved, if that makes sense. But
And another thing, but that probably you would agree, like he's saying, okay, but hang with people kind of that are kind of art minded, not necessarily same music or something, or you don't think
no,
so?
I don't.
Ooh.
I don't. No.
Why?
I just as a person don't do it. I don't do music to make friends. And that's not like sometimes that comes across as a bit smart, but I mean I do this song to put out to people to listen to. This music for people to listen to. Loads of people do it. Lots of people meet up and have great creative friends and things like that. I have got friends that are creatives, but I think if you're in that world, everything is about that. I think it's nice to have your normal life and then your music.
That's actually that's interesting.
Yeah.
What you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. When you think of it, if you know like people that will be around and that, like I don't hang around with band members or just do my own thing, focus on life, and then the music is as well there. And I put everything into music, like everything goes into this. But I also enjoy my life as well. And when I say enjoy my life, I don't mean like I stop playing music for 3 weeks and go on holidays. I just mean like I balance it well. I do a bit of both.
Your job is kind of not really music related.
Yeah.
You want to stay away from it, and not really hanging out with people that are kind of art minded and living with that. Yeah, so we kind of don't agree.
Yeah, no, I
Interesting.
just don't personally. It's not that I don't agree with what he's saying. If you were asking me, would I do it? I don't. Maybe it's the right thing to do.
Maybe you don't need it, but
I
maybe
just don't
other
do it.
people
I
would
don't-
need it to get that push or something if they
Yeah,
are kind
maybe
of.
maybe they enjoy listening to each other playing songs and
Also, you're kind of. I'm thinking you're from musical kind of
Yeah,
family, so
from
maybe
family.
that
Might
you're
be
fed
the-
up with
Yeah.
talking about music and art or whatever, living with music and art.
Yeah,
and-
I've always been around music, so I'm used to that as a kid. But yeah, maybe so. That could be something I never thought of. That.
Yeah, maybe some instances that maybe he's right if someone is stuck kind of fixing cars or
Yeah.
something, and it's just like, and he's
Yeah,
dreaming
I
about
have an
painting
interest in that then because I'm not used to
Yeah.
it all the time. Like it's something different, you know what I mean?
something that you always kind of had, and
Normal
maybe
things.
you had
Let's
enough
talk
friends.
about normal food and normal places and normal
Yeah.
anything, items.
Yeah, we're almost there. 57.
No worries.
He's saying "be yourself" phrase is kind of useless because there are many versions of yourself as an artist, family man. It also changes with time. Rubin compares it to like us kind of ourselves to prism, so kind of light goes through you, like and he says light kind of like life, and you kind of shine with different colors, and everyone is different, everyone gives brings kind of creating different colors, generating different colors. We don't control it, just certain aspects of it. Obviously for that reason art can't reveal us ourselves, because we're always kind of different. It's also easier when we just accept and let that prism kind of to work the way it works. I'm not sure what's the question here. But he's saying like that, be yourself, something, because that's popular. It's like, oh, be yourself. But you're kind of like different.
Yeah,
all
but
the
you can
time.
still be yourself because you know who them different people are. Like there's a difference with like you can be yourself and be a little bit like, for me, I'm a little bit of a messer, like I'm a joker, but not many people get to see that side of me. And then I'd be very serious when I'm singing the songs, so a lot of people only get to see that, but I'm still being myself both sides. Whereas if I was sitting here talking about something that I haven't got a clue about, that I really sound just fake, that's the difference. But I think being yourself in general, you can be yourself in whatever way you want to be once you're yourself. If it's different, whatever he says, like about the colours show more of you and you shine through, I think once you're being yourself, no matter what way you are, you'll work,
So it's not dead, that phrase. Maybe I
No, I don't
misread
think
what
it's
he
dead,
meant,
no.
So
I don't think so.
Rubin compares collaborations to mixing those prisms, kind of, so you get one kind of, let's
So
say,
it's-
glass get colors, the other guy getting different colors, and kind of you get something new from it. It can help to find new perspective. It's not competition, as we were saying earlier. Rubin says that collaboration has to finish with all parties being happy, which I'm not sure about this one. So he's saying like one likes A, the other guy likes B, so they kind of need to come up with C. He believes C will be the best. At the same time, Rubin is saying that if can't agree, then maybe it's simply not right fit. He also adds that when you agree on all then with some collaborator, it means just it's basically two same prisms. You're getting two same colors when everyone is saying, oh yeah, that's great, and you're not getting different. So what's the point to have that collaborator? Because if that one prism is giving that light anyway, those colors. So so basically on collaboration, and especially that A, B, and C thing, that you have to kind of agree on,
Depends who you're doing it with, though. Like, collaborator, I'd find that work with someone different anyway, someone that's not the same as you, because it does make something original then, I suppose. But I do get that thing, because I get that in the studio sometimes. Like, I might have an idea, Stuart has an idea, for example, and then I would say, like, what do you think of this? And then we kind of come, well, what if we actually move this bit and put this bit together, and then we could make this, and then that's the perfection. Not perfection, but you get what I mean. Like,
so it is kind of C, and like you would say,
yeah, you usually
it's not
come
that
to
initial idea.
A lot of the time it does happen where both people have the same mindset. I'd say, what do you think of a bass drum here? Stuart would say, I was only thinking that.
Yeah.
And then we have a bass drum.
So it's sitting there kind of, maybe it wouldn't come up if you wouldn't be two together or something like that. I don't know. Maybe
Might
wouldn't
do.
be sure of, no, but maybe
I don't know whether it would. Yeah. But it depends what he means, kind of, because it could be like two people writing a song. I wouldn't write songs with other people, really, and I did before, and not that they claim that they wrote certain parts of songs. They wrote a few lines in the songs, but I didn't really enjoy it. Like, we always kind of had the AA, like, it was kind of like both of us had a similar idea, and then it was like, okay, we get to B, both of us have the same idea, it's still the same. So yeah, it's a hard one. That's kind of difficult. It's hard to kind of that question entirely depends on who you're working with. Like, that could be you can't have two people painting a picture. Maybe you can, I don't know whether you can, but I said at the start there's no rules. Now I'm saying you can't, but you know what I mean. Like, I've never seen it before, never.
Yeah. And so, but with that thing that you have to come up with, because now I'm thinking, okay, you're talking about studio, but let's say you're working with band members. When it's a band, and and you kind of, let's say you're more of a solo artist, I would say,
yeah.
So let's say it has to be your way, and then
it does in ways, yeah. But you also have to be open to listening to other people, because they might have a good idea.
Yeah.
So it's trying to find that balance, and we do that with the band a lot. I'd give my idea, they'd say, what do you think of this? And then we'd say, what about we try that with this? Then we come up.
Because he's kind of saying, okay, it has to be C, but then later he's saying that, but later saying, if you don't agree, okay, maybe it's not right fit, so it doesn't really have to be C,
he says there's no rules.
That's another thing.
And it has to be C. Yeah. So, he's very interesting. He is interesting, but it's just there's some stuff that'd be for me.
It's more like this, sometimes, obviously you might not agree, but at least okay, bring that conversation, and you think, okay, how it looks like, and I wonder how it looks like also in real life when you do that. Do you, when I mentioned collaborations, I'm checking if you're like, when if you're a collaboration, you think like, I'm gonna kill myself or something like that.
Here's a good example. When you and your wife are going to get a Chinese takeaway, and you say, why don't we get a chicken curry fried rice, and she says, why don't we get a beef curry fried rice, and you then say, what we were to get the chicken and the beef, everyone's happy then. You know what I mean? It just makes both people happy. But you could be getting something magic out of it, but it could be shit as well. By both, Yeah. And the chicken curry that you said at the start was probably the best option. Yeah. I know that's a silly way of explaining it, but just simplifying it,
You like collaborations, or like working with other people, or you kind of like...
No, it depends who I'm working with. I've worked with some people before, and they're amazing writers and amazing at what they do. But
then you trust more their judgment, kind of, like, even if you're not 100% sure if they're right. Do I?
no,
Make
I
sense,
wouldn't. No, I wouldn't trust the judgment. I trust my own judgment. Like I trust what I think, and that's
going
not,
back to that first question. I think intuition and everything.
Yeah.
What you feel is right.
No, I don't really think about what other people think, to be honest with you. And that's not an ego. Like, I'd hate to come across as someone like with an ego, but I trust what I feel. I'm confident with that, and that works
There
for
are
me.
never tensions, really. You don't experience that, really, tensions, or I don't know how to
No,
explain.
I don't allow it.
You don't see it as a problem.
I just cancel. Like, if I was working with an artist and I didn't like it, I'd just say, look, I'm not working with you anymore. I'd be straight. Like, you're not.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to say things to people. You're old enough and bold enough to say no as well. You know.
And kind of that's connected to the communication in collaboration. It would be like a key. Can't really make feedback personal. Would you agree? He's saying that you can't make feedback too personal because you have to be very specific to avoid kind of people taking it personal, and phrase stuff softly. Language is not perfect, obviously, so easy to misunderstand each other and miscommunicate, and so it requires work and patience. You must repeat feedback, but he's keep going back to the, oh, you have to be specific with people.
Maybe if people are, maybe that question for somebody else, for a producer, for somebody that says, look, I don't know whether it works. If you try it this way, it might be better. If I don't like something, I'll say I'm not really into it, and that's.
And also, more for a band, applies to bands probably. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. It wouldn't really be for, like, it's not really for the average listener giving feedback. I think that would be more for, like, from him as a producer. He'd have to say to an artist that instead of saying that doesn't sound good, he could say, well, look, you might be able to do it better here or something like that. Maybe just better wording. But for me as a person, if you give me a song and say, this is my song, I'll say, yeah, it's okay, or it's good, or I don't. It would look, thanks for sending, but it's not really my cup of tea, to be honest with you, you know.
Because next one we might cut out, because I just want to ask, like, because you have the band, but you wouldn't be really a band person. You would kind of.
No, I'll be solo. I'll be solo for the rest of my life, but I'll have band elements for certain shows.
Again, so it's not trying to be disrespectful to the guys or something, but
yeah.
So it is your way, kind of, you know. Okay, we can kind of do a little bit here, that
yeah,
way,
but you also have
listen to you.
You also have to remember you're asking 5 people to come into rehearsals once a week and play gigs with you and say, okay, it's my way or the highway. You have to kind of allow them to say, what do you think, and do you have that in Kill that might work, and allow them to express themselves as well, you know. That's important as well, you know. If they're good, they'll do whatever works best for you. And if I'm honest, I don't know, because I haven't really worked with many other bands, but sometimes people like to shine and like themselves to kind of have their own thing. And I always say that in rehearsals, like, show off in terms of like certain parts, riffs or solos, but I can't just go in all the time and say, this is my song, this is how it goes, and this is the way I want it to be. There has to be some sort of, with the band, when you're doing a live show, give us a look at, they're great musicians, show us what you can do, you know. And like, that might not suit you. Like, my dad says to me, like, the best show you do is with the band. It's by far the best thing you do. Like, he loves the slow, intimate stuff, but he says, like, the full band stuff is way better than the. And then some people say to me, I don't know why you're doing the full band stuff. So it's just a matter of opinion. But as I said from the start, I just do what I feel, and I'll do like the gigs like that. If I feel like bringing the full band for a gig, I'll do it that way. And if I feel like doing a solo, I'll do it that way, you know.
Sincerity can make art sweet and hollow. It can be byproduct, he's saying, but no point to aim for sincerity. Artist is looking for concealed material. He might not find it or understand it. Sorry for reading it. All art is poetry. It's about basically sincerity. What you think, kind of, to be sincere, is that because you're kind of aiming for that, I would say. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's your aim, but it is big
sincere
part of it.
As in,
like, to be kind of, you know, truthful, honest, but, you know,
yeah.
sometimes, you know, what he's saying, it's kind of can get too sweet, too being too honest, kind of, and well, I'm not sure what he meant by that.
Yeah,
again, maybe I misunderstood him totally.
Yeah, no, I do get that. Sometimes you can overdo it, definitely, but there's no rules.
We're getting you're basically done. We're almost
Yeah.
done. We're almost done.
Is this the last question?
No.
Ah, come on,
Last
Martin.
two. Last two. Editing is a demonstration of taste. It's about choosing what fits. Certain furniture obviously can fit in a freaking palace, but will not fit in a monastery. So that's what you're doing, I imagine, with Stu. Kind of like, okay, that's probably not
Yeah,
the right
things
fit.
don't work. Yeah.
Editor must put ego aside, and which you obviously are editor as well, and exhibit called a detachment. The editor is professional, kind of in the poet. When you create, you keep adding. When obviously editing, you trimming usually or changing. It's checking if add-ons are really needed. Many artists are very in love in some bits, and it's hard for them to let go later during the editing. And making complicated simple, awesomely simple. That's the creativity. I think that's the only one. Once he says in the book, "What's creativity?" and that's what he's saying. That
Okay.
It's kind of making things complicated, things
Yeah.
simple, but obviously awesomely
Yeah,
simple.
it's that less is more thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of covered that, but
Yeah.
there's probably nothing to add here. Yeah,
No, but I think there is a thing of like sometimes it's very easy to smother a song, and it's very difficult to find out when is it too much or when is it too little. You don't know, but it's just the noise of the ears, and if you know, you know. In my ears, I should know more, with bigger ears. But I think if you're smothering a song, when you're pulling back off of the song, then you're taking guitars out, you're taking bass out. Sometimes you don't know when to stop, but you don't know when to do it. Like when you should just have, like, when is it the best version?
let it go for it. It's hard job. It takes time, but you go through it usually. Yeah, yourself.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I don't know about the latest.
And you remember any moment that you had problems to let go of something that and someone was telling you, oh, Jesus, like this is like just get it out or add this, and you didn't, you were refusing it, but maybe in the end you kind of understood that, okay, I should do that. Would you remember stuff like that? Or
No, not really, to be honest. I usually listen to people, and I wouldn't be arrogant either. I do my own thing, I do what I feel, but I'd also listen to people and say, look, if you have a good idea, let's hear it, and we'll work with it if it works,
Rubin says that art of self-expression is not really about you. Most people don't choose to be artists. It's nature. It would be against nature kind of to not follow that call. Artists want other people to be able to replicate that emotion charge they're getting when experiencing their art piece that they created. It's not about understanding ourselves or ourselves by others. It's about sharing that our filter, kind of the way we see world. It's also about saying, I was here on this freaking planet this time, I existed. It's about connecting with others, because the reason we're alive, according to Rubin, is to express ourselves in the world. And the best way to do it, it's art, because it's kind of beyond language, our lives, etc.
Yeah.
So there was a lot. Like artists, like you didn't choose obviously to be artists.
No, but you also have, like, with music, like, I release songs now, when I'm dead in 50 years time, they might not be legendary songs that everyone will listen to, but my family will always have something to show what way I was feeling at this time.
Like, he's kind of right about that.
Definitely.
I want to say, I was here, I did exist,
Oh yeah, it would be. It'd be kind of that, you're stamping. Yeah, this was the time I was here, this is how I felt, and this was what, like, when you listen back to old music now, you think like, whoa, it was like that back then,
And also, like you say, you don't really need people to understand you or something like that, or you understand yourself. It's just to
just
express yourself. Yeah,
yeah.
like,
It's just about letting something out.
Yeah, and when and you share it because, and you share it because because you get that kind of some kind of sort of feeling.
Yeah, it's an expression.
I want to. Maybe other people will feel that.
If the people feel it, that's the bonus. If they feel it, that's the extra bit. That's the lucky part. But the art bit is the sticking it out.
By the way, is there a song that you think people don't get it? Absolutely don't get it?
Absolutely, millions of them. The songs I don't get. Oh, of mine?
Yeah, your stuff. Oh, sorry. That people kind of told me is.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I wrote this. It's about birds, and they think it's about whales.
Yeah. Somebody came up to me before, and I had a song, and it wasn't about this particular, and I won't really go into too much about it, but they said, like, I'm so sorry if you're lost. I can relate to that song, and I'm saying, like, it's not about loss, but I didn't say that because let them feel. That's how they feel about it,
Yeah.
But
so it happens. There is something.
It does happen, yeah. Unfortunately.
Oh, I will not get for one probably last one. Probably last one.
You said question 56 about an hour ago.
Actually, this is the last one.
Right.
Do you find most things Rubin is talking about obvious for you at this stage, kind of in your career? You think it would help you when you were younger, or can it help other artists, or simply artists just know those things? You know, like when you read that book, it kind of I think I said that before we started, that you kind of know those things.
Yeah.
You maybe learn them on the way. You figure them out. And it's not really a revelation. We were talking about it. You kind of, know
Yeah, I
everything.
felt a lot of the things that he said already. Like, and it's not to say I'm Rick Rubin or that, but I always say the no rules thing. I've said that since I'm a kid. I've said it to kids in workshops that I've worked with. There's never any rules. I think it would be beneficial for kids and artists to read the book. I think it's important. There's a lot of good messages, and I think it allows you to realise what you can do. And something I would say is there is a few fancy words in it, and I wouldn't get thrown off by them, because there is interesting parts of it. Sometimes when I first read it and I seen all these magical words and some out there words, whatever you'd say, I was like, oh, fuck this, kind of, But I read it and I found it very, very beneficial. Very, not beneficial, I found it interesting. I found it very, I say a lot of these things to myself over the years, and I'm doing okay for myself in terms of music. I'm able to do shows and release music, so if it works for me, it'll work for anyone else.
Because I think also that there's not many maybe books like that, or we don't. Or,
I don't know. I don't really read a lot of books, so I'm not sure. But
yeah, probably there is.
I'd say there is. I'd say there'd be a few. Like,
maybe this is like
it's a generic
the
kind of book, though. Like, you could apply it to anything, kind of.
Yeah.
So
that's why I think the title is also
the creative act.
Yeah, you messed up this cover, but yeah, it's like also a way of being. I think. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
But it's a way of being spelt like.
Oh, actually, I missed that. Jesus, I could see it. I missed the title. Yeah. Read the book, but don't know what I've read. I was trying to say, like, you kind of know all that, you kind of. So I'm asking because I just wanted to know how much you agree with it. Like most of it.
Yeah, I do agree with it. I would agree with a lot of it. Yeah, I'd agree. I would actually agree with 85% of it.
Yeah,
and not that I would disagree with the other.
It's just different
15.
way, kind of seeing.
It's just a different way of seeing things. Yeah, no, I wouldn't like. It's not my type of doing it, but maybe somebody else will. So,
but there would be anything really that, because we kind of we missed a few questions, unfortunately.
You didn't have bollocks.
But we kind of covered a lot of what's in the book, and all that. There's nothing that you can kind of I'm gonna introduce that. Maybe if you go into details with the book, maybe there will be some small thing that you could apply.
I think reading the book is not going to make you a superstar or make you a professional at what you do, but I think it's very interesting. I think it's very, although you know these things, it opens your eyes. It's telling you should go out and see more things. You should see a brighter kind of, like when you're out on the streets, open your eyes to more things. You can see brighter days. You can open more eyes to things around you and write about them, or not even write. Creativity is anything, but. Yeah, it's interesting. I definitely.
But at this point, all those things, yeah, because we missed many things here.
Yeah, there's a few things I wouldn't like. There's a few things that like the audience is last is a very important thing. That's something that's great to me. Had an idea of it, but I wasn't applying it.
Like you felt that, but now it's kind of clear.
Now I'm kind of like, oh shit, he's dead right with that. A lot of it would be meditation. At the minute, it's not for me.
Yeah.
But
and you think it? You said it could be helpful for you, or you think when you were young? I mean, when you were young, or you kind of had it.
No, that's too big for me for when I was young. That book, would it be helpful
for our kids starting kind of?
Yeah, I think it would be.
Probably.
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Like, what have you got to lose by reading?
That's what he was saying as well. Anyway, that was Ciarán Moran. The next big thing, next big man. Thanks for the interview, man.
Mick Rubin.
Thanks. Thanks for that. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Martin.
That was a horrible outro, but
do it again if you want.
I don't know what you want me to say, but because I don't know, we can try again.
Yeah. Whatever you want, go again. If you want to say something into the camera and kind of create something.
So I was just talking with Ciarán Moran, the next huge artist that's gonna be shortly famous all around the world. And I love all his songs basically, and I'm shocked that I love all of them because I have other favorite artists that I can basically like only one, two songs or something like that. He's different. He's very different, and I observe him, and I can't wait when he's gonna be huge and
criticize me.
I always criticize him, and I hope maybe that helps a little bit. But if not, no harm. Probably.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyway, thanks for that horrible second outro. Thanks a lot. We probably fucked this one out. I leave the first one.
Yeah. Going to sit
You want a hot tea or something? Or
No, I'm okay. I'm gonna fly and get something to eat, Martin. I'm fucking starving. I haven't eaten all day.
You want anything kind of